the Knights of the Old Republic getting their own TV show. Do you believe it? Neither do I. Or even if that is the case, do they want to make it? Do they not want to make it? Do they think they're going to make it? Who's going to make it? Is it another project that's just in development? Who knows? What I do know is the Golden Globes happened last night, and Emilia Perez looking like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, racking up a whole bunch of awards. Who saw that coming? We'll talk about that. We will discuss. There's a few more things going on in the world as far as box office goes. You got tons of. I told you. I told you Mufasa was going to keep making money, and nobody. And you kept tweeting me and telling me how much Sonic was going to win, and Luke kept telling me Sonic was going to win. Yeah, it's not the case. Mufasa keeps fighting like Aquaman did. So we'll discuss that, and then we will discuss today where you're going to have the WWE debuting Monday Night Raw on Netflix. So we're going to discuss that and more on the show. It's myself. It's John Roca. Let's get into it. Here we go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the show. It's a Christian Harloff show. It is Monday. And waking up about 5 minutes ago, John Roca. How are you, buddy?
How's it going, guys? It's a Monday, man. It's one of those Mondays where it finally hits me. So it's been a long weekend.
I understand.
How are you?
First of all, tell you the same thing I told Winston. Thank you for holding down the fort for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday last week. It was tremendous help. So thank you very much.
Of course. I hope you whatever's going on there. I don't know if you revealed it, but I hope everything's good. Feeling better?
I talked about it. The wife cool. Everybody got this freaking norovirus, man. The thing, it leveled the whole family, but it really took my wife out, and in doing so, put me on daddy duty for the entire week because they were out of school. So everything is kind of coming back into normal now.
Good.
So we just have this week to start 2025. I can make the announcement that me and you and Dan will be doing our show that we do, the yearly show of the year in review of movies and television. We're going to be actually doing it live. We're doing it tomorrow. Roxy's going to come in on Wednesday and do the show, and so we're going to do our show tomorrow live, and it's going to be pretty fun. I'm excited about it.
Now, let me ask you something. Well, I'm excited about it. Can't wait to see Dan. It's been a while. Happy belated birthday to Dan Murrell. So it's going to be fun for us to go at it about these movies. But does this count? There was some controversy over the weekend about super chats and when they count. It was a knockdown, drag out text messages that were going on.
Wait, between you and no one else. No.
And if we do incredible numbers tomorrow, does that count, or is this a one-off?
If we let's say that you do 80 today, and then you do 81 tomorrow, right?
Yes.
81 is the number that works because the other people don't have the benefit.
Oh no, yes, right. We've clarified that you can't combine days.
You don't combine days,
even though there is a universe where that makes sense. But if we do 150 tomorrow, then we win the week, right? Me, you, and Dan. Is that correct?
Unless Winston and Coy do 150.
Oh, fair, right? And no one else does over. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. So it still counts as a regular show.
Of course it does.
I just want to know.
Of course, if it's live, it's live. You're in play. You're in play. What's it happens?
Danny boy, you better bring it.
We'll see what happens.
We need some money.
We're gonna see what happens. So that's tomorrow. That's gonna be our show tomorrow. But today we got a lot to discuss, and as I mentioned, the Knights of the Republic. It's a thing.
Wow.
Now the question is it a real thing or not? Here's the story itself. The Knights of the Old Republic. Is it gonna be a series? Well, that's this report. The report is that Lucasfilm's first screen experiment to go back in time before the Star Wars prequels with the Acolyte last year might have fizzled, but that's not stopping them from trying again. James Mangold remains at work at Dawn of the Jedi film, which is set some 25,000 years earlier, and now there's a new rumor that has cropped up suggesting that one beloved property within the franchise could be coming to screen. Scooper Daniel RPK, via Comic Book Movie, reports that Lucasfilm is developing a show set during the era of the famed Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic video game. The scoop implies it likely won't be a direct adaptation of the game, but could be could very well be, including characters and rework elements of it as events of the game aren't part of the current Star Wars canon. BioWare developed the game, which unfolds 4 millennia before A New Hope and begins as Darth Malak, Dark Lord of the Sith, unleashed a Sith armada against the Republic. Malak's aggression has left the Jedi scattered and vulnerable, with many Jedi Knights having either fallen or sworn allegiance to Malak. The Jedi player must venture, yada, yada, yada. Just rumors of a screen adaptation emerged in 2019, with Kathleen Kennedy saying at the time we were developing something to look at, and Leda Kalogridis was rumored to have been hired to pen a script, but nothing further ever developed. Okay, so, all right. There's too many things here that make me think I don't know if I buy this, John.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, first thing is, hold on, I'm trying to get the thing back here. So the first thing is, from what I heard, and I don't know if that's changed, and I don't know if it's also because it doesn't really matter because there's only so much he's in charge of, but I heard that Filoni wants nothing to do with the Knights of the Republic.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that, well, because Filoni doesn't want it.
Right.
If they're like, well, this is what we want to do, Dave, deal with it or don't deal with it. That's certainly possible, right?
Yeah.
The other side of it is that I don't necessarily know if they really understand what they have with it. So that's the negative side of it. Like, right, and the other negative side of it is, as they mentioned in the beginning, look what they did with the Acolyte. You know, they're going to do a direct adaptation and try to add elements to the things that really worked, or they're going to try to do their own silly thing based on, hey, we have our own thing that worked. Let's do something completely different like everybody else does with video games.
Yeah.
And it's never worked except Last of Us. Do what Last of Us did.
Right.
So those elements, there's a lot of other things or reasons why they should do this, but let's stick with that part. First of all, I mean, because you are in the scoop game way more than I am.
Yeah.
And what do you make of Daniel RPK's track record? Do you think this is something that we should take serious?
It's a good track record. It doesn't mean that he's always right, but I mean, there's a reason he has a crap ton of followers is because a majority of the time he has been right. So, I mean, I think that's a big part of his fall. And yes, people will occasionally go after him for the times that he's wrong and think they're doing some kind of dance on his grave, but it doesn't work because he keeps picking up people because a lot of his stuff kind of comes to bear. And look, and you're in the scoop game, it's not about getting it right every single time, and because the studios change their minds. Jeff, Christian, you've dealt with people like this. Jeff certainly dealt with people like this, where they say one thing and then they turn around and do something completely different because the winds change, or a new regime comes in, or writers get dropped, or directors. So those things happen. But Jeff said this a few weeks ago when we were having one of our heated back and forths about Star Wars. He said that his connections on the inside at Lucasfilm have said, and he said this on the show, so I'm not revealing anything he said behind the scenes, that they are working on numerous projects.
Right.
So that people don't even know about, people aren't even talking about. He said they're working on numerous projects, and he thought it was ridiculous that people were already trying to put Star Wars in its grave. And so this is probably one of those things they've been working on, and they've gotten to the point where it's now been kind of leaked to Daniel, and Daniel feels comfortable running with it because he's got enough of the vetting here to support it. So I'm not surprised that they're kicking this thing around. I just don't know if this is the answer at this point for Star Wars. I mean, you go 4,000 years before.
Well, it's a thousand. It's a thousand.
4,000. Yeah,
it's a thousand. But that I'm definitely going to push back on. If this is not the direction to go. But let's stay with the validity part of it first.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And if it is indeed, I think that the question is he hearing that it's close, or is he hearing that it's in development? Because we know as well, this, as you just said, there's tons of things in development.
Yes.
So it's like, and as this article mentions, in 2019 they were talking about it. It's been in discussion. The question is, did they crack the code, right? And cracking the code means, well, where do we go? Are we close? Now, my opinion of what they should do, I disagree that they shouldn't do this. I think this is the way you save Star Wars if you do it, if you can get the right people behind it. And what I mean by that is what you could ultimately do is you could start with the seeds of James Mangold's,
I see.
The start of it all, even though that's not where it lands in the timeline, but it starts it all, and then you have a certain kind of lore that you're putting together that then catapults us into whatever it might be 1,000 years before when Malak is running around the joint, because you can establish, if there's enough distance between the prequels and everything else that doesn't, well, I know that person dies. You don't know shit because it's 1,000 years beforehand, but you're setting up the Sith Armada. You've never seen all of a Sith army before. You've only been in the rule of 2. You could live in this world for decades of storytelling through, and I mean our decades, meaning that you could start a series, and if the series is possible, doing your Game of Thrones type, more, I guess more so Lord of the Rings type of thing, and making it that PG-13 series, almost close to our, maybe Andor style, if you wanted to get to the Knights of the Republic,
right?
And you build out these characters through a certain amount of seasons. Saw somebody in the comments say that I love Knights of the Republic, but there's no way to make this story work. I couldn't disagree more. I think that is about as false gets. I think you can do so much with this story and a great adaptation of it. And what it eventually could do, if you do, let's say you do 4 or 5 seasons of Knights of the Old Republic, right? Eventually what that could lead to is more stories leading into Darth Bane and other things leading into it. You could spend years upon this thing and not be just beholden to the Skywalker saga,
the canon,
people complaining about the new trilogy. It's like you're so far removed for it, and it challenges the executives and it challenges the people over there to create characters inside of the Old Republic. And yes, you'll have the Bastillas and you'll have the Darth Malaks and Revans and everyone else that you can use, but it allows you to combine both. The question is, do I have faith in the leadership that's over there right now? Not necessarily. I told you that they got Derek Hoffman coming in there. I'm curious to see what he would help and what he would lend inside of that. I know that he's a fan of that property, so I wonder.
Yeah, I mean, I think this, if they're willing, but it also depends on the tone, doesn't it? What are they going to do? Right? Yes. Are they going to do a Knights of the Old Republic that has the House of the Dragon, Lord of the that kind of energy, that kind of tone, or are they going to go like they did with the Acolyte, where it's trying to be a mixture of both and failing on both sides, in my opinion? I know some people like that show, and that's my concern. And we've said this over and over again: is like, well, do you trust the people there to do this show correctly? I like what you're saying, and it may be the reason why the rumors are they're moving up the Mangold film, is because this series might be closer to being announced than it is to just something they're kicking around in development. So if you're going to connect the Mangold film to that series and you introduce some of the aspects of it all in the Mangold film, then it makes sense to move the Mangold film up so you can move up the series and make that the next big thing. So I think it's very possible that this could be the way to go. And from what I'm reading, this vacillates in terms of how many years in the past it can go. And so Star Wars did this with Discovery, shooting them 1,000 years, I think, into the future. So they didn't have to worry about current canon. We just saw Dune Prophecy, which was set, I think, 1,000 years or 10,000 years before what we saw in the Dune movie. So this seems to be a tactic in order to get away from canon. But what they don't seem to get away from is repeating the patterns that allude to the stuff that we're going to see thousands of years later. So I just wonder if they're going to be able to walk that line correctly right now, the people involved in it, to make this thing work.
So there's so much there that I agree with.
It's exciting, but
I agree with everything that you're saying as far as the question is, what tone are we going to get? Because if you got to hit the right tone with this, because if you hit the right tone and you get a more serious version of this and try to capture what people fell in love with about the video game itself, and don't try to do this cockamamie nonsense. We're like, well, that's video game and too inside baseball stuff. You start doing that and you lose the notion of what made that game so special. And the game got dark. The game got dark. It got very dark.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. And I'm with you, but there's also some very light moments too with the Wookiees and other things. There's a lot of light moments, and there's things that you can do that, and look, and this is the thing that people are going to argue as far as the Knights of the Republic fans, and I know, and if they didn't already do it in the comment section, somebody will. They'll say, look, they'll say, I already know the twist, so they can't do that twist. Well, guess what? People knew the twist from the Red Wedding. People knew the twist from Harry Potter. People knew the twists already from it. I'll know the twist. You'll know the twist, but somebody who's never played Knights of the Republic won't. So if you do it that way and you set it up a certain way, you're not going to be able to do the twist the same exact way, obviously, because it's the way you're playing a video game, but you could still do a thing of, I don't want to ruin it for people now because, but there's a certain thing that happens that you could still do that, but you can do it over the course of 1 or 2 seasons or even 3 seasons. 100%. You can really make this work. But I'm with you, John. I'm with you. I think that it's just, it's the same thing. It's like the baseball analogy, right? I don't have confidence in the manager that the lineup will be the right lineup.
Yeah. Well, and I think I agree with you what you just said. I think it's an excellent point. This idea of like thinking that because because you're a hardcore Star Wars fan, what the twist is, don't get it twisted. Like there are millions of people who don't know Knights of the Old Republic at all and are Star Wars fans. You can argue casual or whatever level they are, but there's millions of them. Just like there were millions of people who've read the Game of Thrones book, but then when you watch the series, a large amount of them were incredibly surprised by the Red Wedding. I was as well. So I didn't ever read the books, and a lot of us were surprised by it. So that's part of the joy. And the other side of it is if you're someone who knows the twist, it's part of the enjoyment to see if they can pull the twist off and even suck you into feeling the twist all over again if they do it right. That's one of the things that you enjoy. You and I watch pro wrestling. We're going to talk about it later. We sometimes will see the heel turn coming, the face turn coming, but it's how they do it.
How it's executed.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, look at Last of Us. Most people knew what was happening with Last of Us. It was probably the best adaptation, pure adaptation of a video game. And people say Sonic. Yeah, but it was Sonic's a good adaptation of it.
I thought Fallout and Last of Us were really good adaptations.
But Last of Us was more so in tune with the story. Yes, they had to take some liberties because that's just always going to happen. But you have so much story. This is why I always kind of try to beat the drum of saying adapt your books, Lucasfilm. You have so many great books that you could adapt and turn into series. And the same goes for their TV shows. So if they're going to actually do this, it goes to the next point where like Filoni can't have his hands on this. You can't let Filoni, from the reports that you had about Acolyte and other things, you can't, I know, good luck. You can't let Filoni have his hands on it. But in the same way that he didn't have his hands on Andor, right? That was Tony Gilroy.
Yeah.
You bring in somebody, and people are going to say, no, it would have been all humor based and everything too. And let me finish before you start screaming and yelling. You know who would have been good to do this, but does not have the time and has another job?
Yeah.
James Gunn. Do you know why?
Oh,
James Gunn's a massive Knights of the Republic fan.
Yeah.
He's a massive fan of the project. Now, I wouldn't necessarily want him writing it, but I'd want him producing it because he's a massive fan of the property. I think they need to get a showrunner that is either a massive fan or do what Tony Gilroy does, surround himself by a bunch of people who understand the property and put together some good writers, everything else too. Get away from this kiddie stuff that they do, the bad, writing for the shows and the half an hour formats, and give me 50 minutes to an hour long of really well-written shows and show me the Sith Armada, show me everything too, and dive deep into this thing instead of doing this same old tired format that is not working for your product.
Yeah, it's a great point. And there are, we've seen already recently, there's a lot of up-and-coming showrunners on shows that are very successful that walk that line between darkness and moments of levity. And so you've got to find those people to interview and see their interest and see their abilities to kind of do this in a Star Wars format and under the auspices of Lucasfilm constantly checking over your shoulder. So there are a lot of young ones out there that you could actually take a look at and see if they'd be willing to jump on and create something here. I agree with you, man.
Yeah, and there's comments in there says, I don't understand the hate for Filoni. Who has hate for Filoni? I don't think anybody has hate for Filoni. I just said that I don't think he's the guy. He should be doing animation. He should be doing animation. He should be doing his shows. He should not be on the overall side of it because it's not working. It is the same thing. It's just the coaching staff is not the right coaching staff. So maybe this is something else. They bring in someone new to run this whole thing. And this is a change. That's why I pushed back against you a little bit, John, with I don't know if this is the right direction, because maybe this could be the right direction with the right team in place. Now, I don't disagree with you if it's the same old thing that they've been doing. Like, we're just going to do the same thing we did with Acolyte, but this time we're going to do it in the Knights of Republic. We know people like that, so we're just going to basically change everything up and just call it Knights of Republic and let people just, instead of this, it'll be this, and instead of that, it'll be that, and the stuff that you love will be stuff that you hate. It's like that. That's the kind of shit they can't do.
Well, I want to see how Andor season 2 comes out, because if Andor season 2 comes out and has a good mixture of occasional moments of levity or humor mixed in with some of the darker stuff, then you've stopped Gilroy from doing a third season. So what better way to maybe reward Gilroy for delivering 2 of the greatest seasons of television, possibly if season 2 is exceptional, by backing up the Brinks truck and saying to him, hey man, this is the next step we want to go in. what do you think about this? And I wonder if Star Wars fans would be incredibly excited and feel more comfortable that Gilroy is going to take this on and deliver something that they're going to be behind, and they leave him alone to do it. I just wonder if that's a possibility.
I feel like they will. I don't feel like Tony Gilroy is the type of guy that's going to take notes from Dave Filoni.
Yeah,
I just
don't think he does. Yeah.
I think he's got that kind of clout with Kathleen Kennedy. That remember,
that's what I mean.
He essentially ran Rogue One. I mean, it was his movie.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
so
came in and saved it. Yeah.
It's gonna be his thing. So
yeah.
I don't know. I got to ask you guys, what do you think overall? Do you think that this is something that's going to happen? We've been down this road before, and I'll probably couple it with that. I've heard Knights of the Republic. I remember being on Jedi Council in like 2017, 2018, talking about how they were talking about developing this thing. So the chance of it happening, who the hell knows? I don't know. I do think that you can't make this show with the team that's in place. Now, that doesn't mean, again, even though I think I'd like to see everybody replaced for the most part, doesn't mean you can't bring in new people to run this thing, new showrunners and whatnot. So let's see what happens. I don't know. What I do know is that the Golden Globes were last night.
Ew.
And they had a bunch of surprises, at least as I thought. I don't know, John, did you think there were surprises? I felt like
definitely. I mean, I think Demi winning was a great, not that, and I know people had kind of been pushing that possibility, but I was really surprised by her. And Sebastian Stan. I thought that
was a big one. Yeah. So here's some of this up. Yes, I agree with you. That was a big one. But the Golden Globes have been handed out. Who cares where they were? The event coming in before the industry goes back to tomorrow following Christmas. On the film front, the biggest winners were The Brutalist and Emilia Perez. The Brutalist won for Best Film, Best Actor, Best Director, while Emilia Perez won for Best Film Comedy Musical, Non-English Film, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Song. Single award winners included The Substance, Conclave, Challengers, A Different Man, A Real Pain, Wicked, Flow, and I'm Still Here. Shut out entirely were Nora, The Apprentice, Baby Girl, Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Gladiator 2, Inside Out 2, There's Last Showgirl, Maria, Queer, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, Sing Sing, and The Wild Robot. On the TV front, Shogun and Hacks were the big winners in respective drama and comedy categories. Both shows took Best Series and Best Actress in their categories. Shogun also won for Best Actor in a drama series, where The Bear snagged Best Actor in a comedy. Yada, yada. Best Motion Picture Drama was The Brutalist. Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy was Emilia Perez. Best Motion Picture Animated was Flow. I didn't see that. That to me was a surprise, but I didn't see it, so I can't speak on it. I was shocked. That seemed like a kind of hoity-toity pick, but maybe I'm wrong. Cinematic and box office achievement winner was Wicked. Best motion picture non-English language was Emilia Perez. Best performance by a female actor in a motion picture drama was Fernanda Torres. I'm Still Here. Best performance by a male actor in a motion picture drama was Adrian Brody. I don't. We can talk about this. We'll probably get into an argument about it, but I hate the fact that they changed actress and actor. It's what are we doing? What are we doing? Best performance by a female actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. It's like one person wrote a letter, so they changed it. Best performance by a male actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy, Sebastian Stan. Best performance by a female actor in a supporting role in any motion picture, Zoe Saldana. Best performance by a male actor in a supporting role in any motion picture, Kieran Culkin. Best director motion picture was Brady Corbet in The Brutalist, which was so silly because he wasn't up against real competition, because both Denis and what's our guy from Wicked?
John M. Chu. Yes,
John M. Chu. Both of them were ignored, so that's a stupid category. That doesn't count. Best screenplay motion picture, Peter Straugen for Conclave. Best original score, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross for Challengers. Best original song. Yeah. There's more. There's more to it, but that's the gist of it right there, John. I don't know, dude. So let me tell you. Well, starting with Nikki Glaser. Let's talk about her first. Dude. Last year we talked about how it didn't work out with who hosted last year. We talked about him.
I don't remember a host last year.
Remember he was. Oh my God! It
wasn't Ricky Gervais.
No, it wasn't Ricky Gervais. It was. Oh my God! People are going to say it in the comments in a second. But it was the comedian that. Joe Coy. Yeah, right. Joe Coy.
Yeah.
And he good comedian, not a great performance, right?
No.
Nikki Glaser was phenomenal.
I went in. I did not think she was going to be good, and she nailed it, dude.
Phenomenal. She was phenomenal. She's a pro. She's a pro. She's like, she is nothing against, again, Joe Coy is a very good comedian, stand-up comedian. That wasn't his thing. This was her thing. She should do it again. They should do what they did with Ricky Gervais. You know what she did so well? She told good roast jokes, but not ones that were like, oh, that's not called for here.
Right.
A great balance, and she took shots at everyone and every side. She was brilliant. She was a brilliant host. She was wonderful. She kept the show moving. Loved what she did.
Yeah, I was really surprised. Not because Nikki isn't a funny person, but like, she's made her name on the roasts. She's made her name doing those stand-ups, and they're pretty brutal at times, her stand-ups. So I was surprised that they brought her in. But the thing is that she was really smart about it. And this happens. You want to stay in this business. You want to work in this business, especially as a female comedian. It's not always easy. She understood how to play this just right. She went right up to the line, never crossed it. But you were able to like enjoy the jokes, and everyone rolled with the jokes. Hardly anybody was offended. And it's not that some people want to go into these things and go, let's make fun of these actors, by the way, who we go see all the time in movies. But I don't understand the love, hate, and that kind of thing. But it's okay to make fun, but make fun to a point. You don't have to go full, like, let's just set them on fire type of stuff. That's what I don't understand. So I like that she walked that line really well. The inventiveness of some of her comedy within it was so smart. Her coming out in that Pope thing to sing Popular and then stopping halfway. That was really funny. All of that really worked. Getting Sandler to do the Chalamet thing was genius.
Yeah,
you know,
and it was nice, and it was like, but it was good humor, right? It wasn't like like, and he played along because he didn't feel like he was getting made fun of. I'll tell you the best joke of the whole night, even though it was probably the meanest, was because she turns and says to Benny Blanco, she's like, "What genie did you wrote?" Because look, that guy's punching up, right? I mean, I think someone said the guy looks like Fezzik, you know, from but either way, like the way that she presented it was masterful. She was just really good. 100%. She kept the flow going. That joke that you said, the Popular, was really good. Yes. Because even this sucks. Oh, this sucks too. All right, well, forget it. And then she went through it. It was great. It was really good. She's gonna be around for quite a while. And even when she played off of the fact when she lost,
the stand-up,
great, really, really good. So the other thing that I really liked, there were only a few. You know how I get with the speeches.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, look, if there's something to be said that is relating to your movie, and it's political or it's whatever it might be, and it's connected to your movie, connected to your project, and you decide to make it, fine. If you are winning an award for a voiceover you did playing a dog playing the piano, and you start going into this real political thing, screw you, get off the stage. There wasn't a lot of that in general last night, but there were a couple long-winded speeches and some that weren't prepared. Look, I love Zoe Saldana. I love her. Yeah. But her opening speech, she was just rambling. She was just rambling. I don't know what the hell she was saying. She was she's going in and out of her accent. She was going back and forth of thanking anybody that was around. She was staring and pointing and choosing that person to thank. My favorite speech, Kieran Culkin's speech, was awesome.
Yeah, it was very good. Even though I don't think he should have won, I thought the speech was great. Yeah.
Here's who I'm gonna thanks for my wife. Here's a couple jokes, yada yada yada. Here's to this person. All right, I'm gonna go F off now. Peace out, because he knew the assignment. And the second, the dude from Shogun.
Yeah, that was great.
You don't know who I am. I'll tell you who I am. I'm a Japanese actor. I did this. Yeah. This is great. I'm so happy. Peace out. Leaves. That's it.
I got to go shoot at 2 a.m. I'm on a plane. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I'm out. We don't want to hear about all this. You should thank who you're supposed to thank, and they got you there for sure. Do it quick and get out of there. Unless you're going to say something funny.
Yeah. Listen, you've dealt with us in the Schmodown. You certainly dealt with me. And so with performers, there's a lot of jinx and not wanting to jinx things. And so a lot of them don't prepare speeches, not because they want to be impromptu. They legitimately don't want to believe they're going to win. Now, it's different when people who are like been winning all the awards, they show up at the Oscars, then yes, you should have something prepared. But for something like this, it's kind of the beginning of the award season. You don't necessarily have stuff prepared. So sometimes you walk up on that stage and you don't have anything to say, or you're kind of winging it because you didn't want to prepare anything because you thought, if I do, I'm jinxing winning. So I kind of give a little more grace. I hear your point, obviously. You'd love everybody to have prepared speeches, but these are performers, and performers are notoriously superstitious.
If you got a chance to win,
athletes are, and so it's the same kind of thing, man.
If you got a chance to win, you prepare something. You know who had a great speech?
Demi Moore. Say that you've never been nominated like this.
Demi Moore. Demi Moore had a great speech because Demi Moore
has been doing it for 40 years.
Whatever. She never won. She's never been nominated.
Or but I mean, like, she's been in the business. She knows to be.
Yeah, but Zoe Saldana's been in the business long enough.
Sure.
Come on, she's been in it long enough to where it's like, and if not, that's on her agent or someone else is like, okay, there's a good shot you could win here. Just do this, and try to hit these beats. She was emotional. I understand it, but it was just like, I didn't see Adrian Brody's speech. Apparently, it was really long-winded and went on too long. I didn't see it.
Well, that's Adrian. He loves to go.
I didn't see it. I mean, because we were watching. I was watching with my oldest for a little bit because she wanted to see everything that Wicked, and Wicked got shut out pretty much of everything. I couldn't believe that it didn't win. I woke up this morning. I couldn't believe it didn't win Best Musical. Thought that was a shoo-in.
No, I mean, this is the thing that people need to look at with the Golden Globes. Unless you want to finish your point, I have a point to make.
No, go ahead, please go ahead.
I think the people are talking about Emilia Perez. It's an international awards. Of course, they were going to give a lot to Emilia Perez, and yes, I think the film is actually, the more I watch the film, the less I like it, which is really bothering me lately. But like, this is the situation, and this is the way they went because it's an international awards body. So because of that, they're going to lean towards more of the international stuff. So Emilia Perez walking away from this with all these awards does not mean that it's going to sweep up at the Oscars or do whatever. I think Zoe is definitely a shoe-in. I don't think their song is a shoe-in to win at all like it won last night. And yes, it won musical or comedy over Challengers, over Anora, which is a shame it got shut out. But Anora is very much, yes, it's got foreign people who are in the movie, but it's very much like an American story through her eyes. So this is a different point of view. So I think that's the reason why Emilia won so much. People shouldn't put so much stock in Emilia wiping the floor with other films here in this particular award ceremony. That's how it goes with the Golden Globes. They always lean international if they can, which is why Flo won over Inside Out 2. That's a French animated film. So
you make a great point. You make a great point. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's where you should start changing your bets.
No, not at all.
No, you make a great point because like when Flo won, I was like, what? And then I went, oh yeah, it's the international awards because I don't even know what I mean. I'd seen, I think I saw Flo on the app. I didn't watch it. Right? Did you see Flo?
Yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful film.
Is it better than Inside Out 2 or Wild Robot?
I personally don't think it's better than Inside Out 2 or Wild Robot. I think it's on the same level, though. So I think you go either way. There's still good choices. Okay. And that's a positive that there are that many good animated films that could win. I think that's a positive. So whichever way it goes. But I do think Inside Out 2 has the inside track, so to speak, on winning the Oscar.
I'm very serious. I'm very curious about, are you going to the Critics' Choice Awards?
Mm-mm.
You're not going. Okay.
I don't go to public events anymore, man.
I'm surprised that you don't want to go to that one though. Because but
I try to stay away from it.
I don't blame you, but either way, that to me, as I've told you before, I think is the most important because I feel like that's the one organization that actually watches everything.
Yes, which I'm very proud of. Yeah.
Yes, and so I want to see what that looks like, what the awards look like at the end.
Yes,
and see how that plays, because that might say a little bit more, right? Because I
think so.
Because a lot of times when you go into these awards, you go, okay, well, that's the clear front runner for the majority of everything.
Right.
I don't know I mean, one would think Emilia Perez because of yesterday, but you made a really good point because of the international awards. Like, who knows if that's the front runner? I don't know if that's the front runner. I would have said The Brutalist was the front runner. I would have said Wicked was the clear front runner as far as musical or comedy, but I guess you, again, making your point. So this year, unlike any other year, I think it's up in the air. Anybody could win.
Yeah, I think The Brutalist is a lock for Best Picture, but what you said is a great point. But we have seen very clearly that there's quite a few critics groups who are leaning in multiple directions, quite a few voting bodies who are leaning in multiple directions, and so it is much more up in the air than we've seen in quite some time, and I think that makes it exciting. And we'll see how the ratings are for the Oscars because a lot of these popular films, though, Christian, are being shut out again. I don't understand how no one is talking about Dune Part 2. Like, it is beyond, it is beyond understanding to me. That film is absolutely a masterpiece, an achievement. And once again, Denis is getting forgotten all around here, and it is beyond frustrating. You know, Dune 2, I'll put Dune 2 up against The Brutalist, up against certainly up against Emilia Perez, and any of these other Best Picture nominees, Conclave, whatever you want. Nora, Dune Part 2 is incredible. And
but
so,
this is where
crazy
you start
forgetting about it, man.
It's not, though, for me. It's not crazy. It's wrong, but it's not crazy, because the reason why is it just shows why I don't take any of these awards serious anymore, because I mentioned this to you last week or the week before. Like, back, if you look at like the awards that were nominated, the films that were nominated in like 1990, 91, they're all like mainstream movies that right? They're not like these little obscure, and granted, there's way more product now. There's way more things now. There's way more ways to get your product seen and ways to get your film nominated. I mean, look at Emilia Perez alone from the Netflix side of it. But there's just so many of these obscure little things that most mainstream movie people have not seen any of these movies, right? At all. Dune is one of those movies that a lot of people have seen in general, and it is an absolute achievement. And it is, to me, it's absolutely wonderful. But it doesn't surprise me that they're like, well, look how hoity-toity we are, and how important and sophisticated we are, that we're going to nominate this, or we're going to vote for this movie here about this Brutalist, and the movie this, Emilia Perez. I'm not taking away from the quality of the movies, but I'm just saying that that's what they want to see. They don't want to be like, we voted for the sci-fi epic. But it was directed by Denis. No, it's science fiction. There's worms in it. There's big, huge worms in it. Can't do that. We'll vote for Chalamet in his other performance when he did the biopic, because that's more our speed. Biopics.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just don't take it seriously, because it's not really. They don't represent. None of it represents the real audience. It represents committees.
Well, I do think it represents the artistic audience, but I think you're right. It doesn't represent the overall movie-going audience lately, and I don't disagree with you there. Certainly, I was just taking a quick look as you were talking. The top 30 films, box office wise, and maybe 3 or 4 will be nominated for any kind of awards at the Oscars, and that just tells you the difference there, and how they look. And Wicked probably being the one that's going to get the most nominations at the Oscars of these top 30 films, box office wise. In the world and domestically as well. So it's true. It's the way that it's gone for whatever reason. But either the moviegoers' tastes have changed, or these bodies refuse to consider these films with a bit more seriousness. But either way, it's absolutely, there's a divide here.
I mean, look at the way Angela Bassett should have won that year, and she didn't win it because she was in a comic book movie.
Right.
And
totally should have won. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, and someone said, has it ever? Yeah, it has been. I'm telling you, go back and look at some of the
nominations. The 90s, or up until about 2000s, 2000.
Look at some of the nominations from like the late 80s, as John said, like the early 2000s, and they're all movies that you probably know. And
Beautiful Mind, Gladiator won Best Picture in 2000. That's about as mainstream as you get.
Yes, wide release mainstream movies were nominated all of the time. They're hardly ever nominated now, and if they are, that's not going to win. It's crazy how that happens. Like, you're like, the mainstream movie is not going to win. It's going to be the little side piece movie that wins. Sometimes the big one wins. Sometimes, but what was Oppenheimer, right? Oppenheimer is an example. Like, sometimes, and again, that's because they had the Nolan power behind it, right?
Right.
But there are, but still, that's such an exception also, because that's a movie that shouldn't have been a big, huge blockbuster movie. It is because it's Nolan, right? It's like the guy who created the nuclear bomb. They're going to do a movie, mostly not even necessarily about anything except him being on trial. You're like, that movie, that you would say that movie will probably be nominated for an Oscar, right? and it did. It won, but it just happened to be a big blockbuster, almost $1 billion movie. But Barbie got nominated a bunch, didn't win, but it got nominated. Yeah. What won? What can you look up and tell me what the winners were from the last like 5 years, and we'll see.
Yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once was the year before.
Smaller movie. Yeah.
Coda, super
smaller movie.
Nomadland, another small movie. I think Parasite, you'd argue, was a bit more popular.
It was popular in the film thing though too. I'm telling you, I'm talking mainstream.
Yeah,
mainstream.
Green Book was before Parasite.
Green Book is probably, probably had the widest release out of all of those.
Yeah, Green Book over Black Panther. Let me just put that on the table. The Shape of Water before that, a kind of a smaller film. It was Guillermo's film.
Yep.
Moonlight.
Smaller movie.
Spotlight. Birdman.
Still smaller movies, but you got
12 Years a Slave. Argo.
Maybe
Argo was probably
a bigger release, and I think 12 Years a Slave got a wider release, but it's not like like as big of a movie. So like, keep going.
Argo made $225 million.
Argo was a big movie.
King's Speech. Hurt Locker is 2009.
Yeah, kind of.
Slumdog, Millionaire before that.
Still, I mean, they're movies that became famous because they won the things.
No Country for Old Men, 2007.
Right.
And then Departed before that in 2000. I think Departed
that's probably your biggest one.
Like I said, the mid 2000s is where it starts to make a change.
Yeah.
Because before Departed, you do have Crash, but you have $1 Million Baby, which was very popular. Lord of the Rings, Chicago, A Beautiful Mind, Gladiator. Those are big movies. So
it's shifted, and that's the way that it works now. And it's more so about because what it is getting your client the win on these small movies, so then they can make more money to make the big movies.
Yes,
that's what it is.
100%.
It's like you start to see, okay, well, so and so won this. You'll start to see Demi Moore pop up in even more things now. Oh,
100%. Yeah, I mean, she's really good in Landman. So yeah,
I haven't seen that, but and she should. I love seeing comeback stories. And then it was her, and they talked about it last night. The comeback story was her and somebody else. Shit.
I don't know who else they were talking.
Did you see the awkward moment between Vin Diesel and The Rock?
Dude, did I see it? I tweeted it out, and I said, Vin is so wrong for this, but as a professional shit talker, I applaud what he did in this moment because
pretty funny.
This is how you keep the feud going forever, man. It's never going to end.
And all he did was, "Hey, Dwayne."
Hey, Dwayne. There was a pause. He looks at him and he goes,
"It's so weird."
Hey, Dwayne.
He's a weird dude. He's a weird.
I mean, The Rock is just about to explode on Raw tonight on Netflix.
Tonight. He's looking skinny.
He is looking skinny, which means because of the work he's doing on the Safdie Brothers movie. That's what he's looking like.
Yeah.
But he just bought like a shit ton of shares in TKO. This guy is going to be a billionaire. And here's Vin Diesel walking in thinking he can say this to The Rock. I mean, it's insane to me. Insane.
Well, and especially, he's living. He guy lives in another fantasy world.
Yes, he does. Yes.
Anyway, so nonetheless, the Golden Globes, I thought the show for itself. Nikki Glaser made the show. I mean,
it's a very enjoyable show.
The whole reason the show is enjoyable. Nikki Glaser, that shows you the power of a good host. It shows you why one host is really good if you do it the right way. It does show you that move, get your stuff on, win your award, get the hell out of there. Nobody cares about your long-winded nonsense. You won an award. Congratulations. It's good for your career. We don't want to hear you beat it. That's it.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know. Okay. Now, before we move on, because we got a lot of other things to discuss here today.
Okay.
John, you currently sit, man, at 30 right now. That's great.
30. Oh, good.
30 going in. That's pretty good. But I want to tell you guys, we got two wonderful sponsors here today that I'm going to discuss with you, and let's talk about it. I've talked to you guys before in the past about Robinhood. You guys know, you've heard me discuss. Well, I'm going to discuss with you once again. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash-in non-retirement accounts. It's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Now, to receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year. First match must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. You got to go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rates claim is based on the data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. So thank you to Robinhood here for joining us on the show. Very happy to have them back. And I also want to tell you guys, we have a brand new sponsor that I'm so excited to discuss with you guys about, because I had gotten the product last week. I was like, oh God, when can I talk to you guys about this? Well, the time is now. The time is now, and that is Prolon. If you guys aren't aware already, well, I'm going to make you aware now. Prolon is absolutely great. They have this January fasting challenge, which is pretty wonderful. If you're starting the year with a fast, it feels a little daunting. I know. You're not alone. There's an entire community of individuals wanting to make a meaningful difference in their health, just like you. And this is what makes group fasting so powerful and why I am joining in on Prolon's January Fasting Challenge. It is a coach-led program to set you up for fasting success. Wanted to try to do something like this, and now I figured out a way to do it. Prolon's fasting mimicking diet is revolutionary. It's a plant-based nutrition program that nourishes the body while making cells believe they're fasting. Researched and developed for decades at USC's Longevity Institute and backed by leading U.S. medical centers, Prolon helps promote healthy blood sugar, enhanced skin appearance, fat loss, and improved energy and focus. It all starts with their 5-day program. Snacks, soups, beverages designed to keep your body in a fasting state. No guesswork or planning required, which is a relief after a busy holiday. Got to stay motivated during the challenge with guidance from top longevity and nutrition coaches, providing the tools you need to successfully complete your fast. I cannot tell you, when they told me about this, this is something I always wanted to try, and I'm so pumped to finally get this going. So if you're ready to make 2025 your healthiest year yet, order your Prolon 5-day kit at prolonlife.com/bigthing. Join in on their fasting challenge today. New groups start every Sunday in January. Plus, Prolon is offering the Big Thing listeners 15% off their 5-day nutrition program for your post-holiday glow-up when you go to prolonlife.com/bigthing. Once again, prolonlife.com/big thing. John, you ever do the something like this before?
Which one?
The fast.
You did 2 of them. Fasting?
Well, Prolon. Yeah, the
okay.
Prolon. It's like so, but it's again, it makes your body think that you're fasting. It's like all these soups and everything too.
Smart.
After the holiday I had, woof, God, I need a cleanse, man.
Woof, daddy. Woof.
I need a cleanse, my friend. So anyway, you can help out the show, guys. You go into the link in our description, and that's how you do it. That is how you do it. Okay, so John, I'm not one to tell people when I'm right, except when I'm right, and I do that often because I'm usually right. Do you remember when I kept telling people that Mufasa was going to beat Sonic, and everybody told me I was crazy?
It's a little bit of selective memory, but okay, go ahead.
Oh, you weren't paying, and I didn't say you. I
don't know, but like you admitted defeat after the first weekend, and now you're saying
what I said after that first week. I said, after that first week, people kept tagging me. I said, okay, maybe I was off my rocker. I wasn't off my rocker, and I let people persuade me that I was. So after that first week, people were like, look at this, you're out. And I said, oh, I guess I was wrong for once. Well, I wasn't. I was right. Because Mufasa is coming in hot. Yeah. It's doing. Remember, I did say this when we were on I said, look, it could have an Aquaman type thing happen here.
Possible.
And that is what is going on thus far and whatnot. So Mufasa continues the box office comeback with plenty of people returning to work on Monday. The last holiday box office numbers are in an overall stronger start to the year than last year, with $105 million spent at the box office, up 22%. Mufasa, The Lion King, continues its comeback after its soft start last month. The title finally took the top spot for the 3-day weekend and is set to take in $24.5 million, down just 33%. On a week to date, it has pulled in $169 domestically. Sonic has had to settle for second place with $20.7 for the weekend, down 44%. Its total domestic now stands at $187. And it is now the third highest grossing video game adaptation in domestic box office history, beating Uncharted at $150 and behind only Sonic 2 at $190 and the Super Mario Brothers at $575. Third went to Moana 2 with $13.2 and a stunning $425.9 total thus far, followed by Nosferatu with $13, down just $39 in the second weekend, and a total of $69 million after just 10 days. Wicked rounded out the top 5 with $10.2 million in the seventh weekend for a total of $450 thus far. 6 was a complete unknown with $8.3, down just 29%. Baby Girl with $4.6, up 2%. 7 held its 30th anniversary screenings by 200 screens,
Yes,
106 million. That's pretty good. So I'm going to look up the actual number for what Mufasa is worldwide because they didn't give us that. But what do you make of these numbers, John?
I'm not. The Mufasa thing has actually been a little bit of a surprise to see how it bounced back and how it's catching on. I think it's almost at
476.
476, almost at $500 million, which is pretty good considering how it stumbled out of the gate. We're getting into January. There's not much competition in January, so it should keep doing well, although kids are going to start going back to school, so maybe the numbers won't be as high now. But I think for the way it started, they should feel happy with where it ended up. And nothing says we lost the race like Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the studio coming out and saying, our franchise has made over $1 billion at the box office, and totally not talking about how it didn't pose competition in the end to Mufasa as strongly as people were thinking it might. So I think that's them acquiescing or conceding defeat to Mufasa. So
easily, because Luke had written me a couple days after. He's like, I should have bet you that steak dinner. I said, don't say that so fast. Because, and now today, worldwide, I mean, they might be winning domestically, but worldwide, Mufasa whooping that ass.
Yeah, they are
whooping that ass. It's like over like 150 million difference. Whooping his ass. And
Sonic winning here domestically, but yes, worldwide, Mufasa's killing it.
I say, and I also say that acknowledging that Sonic 3 is the far superior film. Way better movie. But I think the difference is that you have a longer life of the Sonic 3 fans are going to go support that movie immediately when it comes out. Support it immediately. They're going to do repeat viewings on it within the first couple of weeks. And then the people who want to see it have seen it, and then it starts to trail off. Mufasa, I told you this a million times over. There is nothing for families to see right now. So you did not get to the movies during Christmas, the holidays or in general, and you go, oh, I got to take the kids to go see a movie. What do I see? Most people are going to choose Mufasa. Mufasa for overall families, because it's just the brand, and it's what's been happening. People go, it's not true. Well, 556 to 336 says otherwise.
Yeah, there's nothing coming at all. Like you've got Last Showgirl and Den of Thieves 2 this weekend. Then next weekend you've got Better Man, Wolfman, and September 5. And then after that, it's Flight Risk, which I think you and I should go see and do a reaction to. If we lived in the same city, Flight Risk. That's the one with Wahlberg, directed by Gibson on the plane. And so there's nothing. And January 31st, Dog Man is the only thing that might rival as an animated thing, but there's really nothing coming that's going to challenge until Captain America. So if I was Disney, I would spend a little bit of money doing even more promotion on Mufasa to catch those people who want to go to the theater and come back and see it over and over again, just to give their kids something to do, get them out of the house. So that's an idea.
That's it. But I just don't, maybe they don't even necessarily have to, because that's what's happening anyway. Right.
Yeah. So what do you consider Mufasa? Is it animation or live action? What do you consider Mufasa?
I go back and forth on this. I used to like argue with Bibiani about it all the time. It's like, when we came, because he's adamant that it's animation, right? He's adamant. I don't think it's either. I think it's it's computer animation.
Right there.
It's not, so I mean, I guess it's still animation by here, but it's the standard. My daughter said this, by the way.
Okay.
And I agree with her 100%.
All right.
You know how they would have actually, I think, made even more money with Mufasa?
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
They actually went with 2D, and they made it that classic, like they made it look like The Lion King 94. They made it look like that old classic type of thing. Like the way that they used to do it. Instead of making a prequel to the 2019 thing, I guess the reason that you look at it and you go, well, we made $1 billion with that, but I think there's something to be said about trying to like really capture the nostalgia of it and making it a prequel to that instead. Yeah. But who knows? But to answer your question, I think that it does fall. I probably fall a little bit more to Bib's side now these days. I think it looks like they make it look like live action, but there's nothing really happening that's real. Like Jungle Book is probably an argument to where it's more live action.
The main kid, and everything like that.
Right. So it's like a mixture of both, something like a Roger Rabbit type scenario.
I don't know. I say this because Mufasa, if we consider Mufasa animation, then 5 out of the top 10 films of 2024 were animated films. Inside Out 2, Despicable Me 4, Moana 2, Kung Fu Panda 4, and Mufasa. If you go that way.
And how many remember Disney last year? Disney last year came in second place after having a kind of a dismal year.
Yeah.
They have to have won hand over fist this year with nobody even coming close. Right.
Right.
Yeah,
no.
Nobody even came close. They had, like you just said, they had Mufasa at 500 plus.
Yeah.
They had $2 billion movies.
Right.
With
Deadpool
and Inside Out. Yep. And then what were the other ones that they had that came out?
Moana 2.
Moana 2, which made 5. So between the other two movies, that's basically $3 billion right there.
Yeah.
Those movies. So I mean,
Mufasa and everything. Yeah.
Whatever else they had come out too. So they already hit that $3 billion with just 4 or 5 movies or whatever it is.
Yeah. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That's under Hulu. That's Disney. That's almost 400 million.
Right. So I mean, it's like, they had that 1 year last year where it was like, oh, it looks like they're out of it. It's like, take it easy.
Take it easy, guy.
It's like, they need. I mean, I would like to see more studios getting some IP to challenge them, but they just there's nobody out there who's really got a shot to do it. I know that there was, again, talking to my daughter about this, she was kind of, I told her there's probably going to be some more Wicked movies now because Universal's probably wanted to, and she's like, and my daughter who has been just listening to this nonsense, she's like, really? She's like, I hope they don't ruin it because like what the only thing, she's like, well, the only thing that they could, she tells me this, she's like, the only thing they really could do is that they really adapt the books, right? That's probably
the Wizard of Oz books. Yeah.
No, the Wicked books.
Well, I mean, like the way they could go out, like touching on the Wizard of Oz story, I guess is what I'm saying.
I guess, but I mean, no, but they have follow up Wicked stories like past this, like 5 books, which I had no idea about. And I found this out through my daughter, but like it's just, but there's certain things like I've got my issues with, and not the movie itself, but like the Wicked, I guess, and I talked about this with Steph. I don't like when they decide to make the villain really not the villain or to explain why the villain is so bad. It's a Hollywood cliche that I'm getting bored of. This wasn't necessarily how this is. I mean, the play did this. The play, because in the book she's significantly evil. So you see her turning, but she's more like an anti-hero, and she's actually the good one, and the wizard and everyone else is bad. And I'm like,
well, look, you can't say that when you're such a big Cobra Kai person, and that's essentially foundational. About moving things around with Johnny, but I hear you though. Because you haven't seen part 2 though, and you haven't.
I know. So I think, and I like part 1, and I like part 1.
I think they go darker with part 2, and we're gonna find out if her sister, who by the way is in a wheelchair, is gonna have a house dropped on her and how that works. So,
but wasn't she? Yeah. See, but that's the thing. My daughter keeps telling me, and I'm harping on it, and I got to stop because it's like this is not a continuation or canon to Wizard of Oz.
No.
It is not. It's a completely separate universe because the Wicked Witch's sister was more powerful and evil than she was.
Yes.
And she got all pissed off and said, "Well, now that she's dead, she's the most wicked." Because the sister was a real asshole.
Yeah.
But apparently she doesn't have any magic in this one, so it's like I gotta get over it. It's like, and I also have to pretend like I also have to stop pretending like I'm a massive like Wizard of Oz.
Not my Wizard of Oz.
No, it's unbelievable. They're changing the canon. What do I care? What do I give a shit?
Hashtag not my Oz. Hashtag not my Oz.
Who cares? I don't care. Like it's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's great music. I've been humming into my stupid head all day. So what do I know? Anyway.
Popular. I wish she'd finish that bit. I wish she'd finish that bit. I wish they would.
No, but that was the beauty of it. She knew.
Yeah, I know. You're right.
She knew not to. Really, really solid what she did there. All right, we'll do one more story. And we'll get to the questions, John, because you're kicking ass today, dude. Normally, in order to when you start off at like 30, you're looking good, like because you're probably going to get to the higher tier and make it hard for everybody else.
Yeah,
we haven't even got to the question section. You're at 40 already, my friend.
Wow,
you're doing good thus far.
Okay.
So let's do this one because I want to talk about this. David Fincher, who I always get excited when I hear he's got a project, but I always feel like followed by that is why his projects were canceled. I always feel there's so many projects of his that just never come to see the light of day. I mean, I guess that's everybody, but it's just I love David Fincher,
Yeah.
So he continues his blitz of media interviews lately with discussion today of the particular film he was attached to that got away from him, an adaptation of Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. The famed 1870 work follows a group of scientists and whales set out to the open seas to take down a massive sea creature that's been attacking ships. They discover that the creature is an advanced technology submarine designed by exiled Indian prince Captain Nemo, who is consumed by a hunger for vengeance for his family slaughtered in the rebellion, along with a hatred of imperialism, having lived under the rule of the British East India Company. Disney did a film adaptation of the work in 1954, and let's see, both versions essentially whitewashed Nemo, turning him into an Englishman and omitting any of the imperialism elements. Fincher was to work with Disney and screenwriter Scott Z. Burns on new and more modern versions of the story in the early 2010s, but hit a roadblock after Brad Pitt passed on the role of Ned Land. Disney wanted Fincher to cast Chris Hemsworth, but Fincher wanted Channing Tatum. That's interesting. Fincher also had a different take on the story, what Disney wanted. He wanted to emphasize that revenge against imperialism aspects, whereas Disney just wanted something exploitable for their division. Sounds about right. He explains to IndieWire, you can't make people excited about the risks that you're excited about. Disney was in a place that they were saying, we need to know that there's a thing that we know how to exploit, shout to tall, and you're going to have to check these boxes for us. And I was like, you've read Jules Verne's, right? This is a story about an Indian prince who has real issues and with white imperialism. And that's what we wanted to do. And they were like, yeah, as long as there's a lot less of that in it. So you get to a point where you go, look, I can't fudge this, and I don't want you to discover the premiere what it is that you're financed. It doesn't make any sense because it's just going to be pulling teeth for the next 2 years, and I don't want to do that. I mean, life's too short. This is why I love David Fincher. I love the honesty. Yeah. I love the honesty. He's like, look, here's the deal. I was going to do this thing. This is the way I wanted to make the movie. They were like, no, we don't want to make it this way. And you know what's hilarious about that is that we'll have this is the type of thing where people are gonna normally would say, like, see, Disney just wanted to, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait, let's not report on this one because Disney actually wanted to do the stuff that we wouldn't want them to do, and they were actually on our side.
This doesn't fit our narratives, our anti-woke narratives.
So we're not going to report on that story because they actually did what we didn't. Okay, never mind. Fincher wanted to do it, and we can't talk about Fincher. But anyway, so it was I love the comments. It's like, look, this is a movie I wanted to make. They didn't want to make it, so things happen. We did something else, and that's it. What is he working on right now that he's promoting?
Shit. What is the thing that's got? Oh, God damn it. Sorry, we were just talking about it the other day. Squid Game? The Squid Game American remake.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he's working on. And of course, 7 is out in theaters now in IMAX, and it's out in 4K tomorrow. So for people, and it's like,
is that what he's promoting? He's promoting 7 right now.
Yeah, because it's on back order and everything like that. But that's what he's got working on. As rumors about him doing Squid Game season 3, and he obviously did Killer 2 years ago, which is the most recent thing, which I thought was good, the Fassbender one. But yeah, so that's what he's working on now. But I like it too. I like the comments. He was very honest. Like, look, I want to do this way, and look, this is the story. And of course, Disney loves to homogenize shit, so they were in there going, well, no, let's do less of that and make it more of a fun thing. Because I mean, none of that is in the original with Kirk Douglas and James Mason, which I love. I grew up loving that film. So
there's two things here, though. One is that, do I understand your Disney as a brand? Do I understand where they're coming from? Yes.
Right, business-wise.
But you don't call David Fincher at all then.
Yeah, right, exactly. 100%.
That's not who you call if you want that movie.
But that's the hubris of Disney. They're like, well, we can get him in the room, and then we'll have the Fincher name brand, so it'll seem like we're cool, but we're also going to shave down some of the harder edges of the story. It's like, come on, man. That's
not who you get. That's not. It's like you got to. I mean, it goes back to our conversation we talked about before with like Tony Gilroy.
Yeah,
it's like, you're not gonna. Well, we want you to do this. Like, no, I just won't do it. But thank you. This is so. Anyway, all right. We have come to the question part of it. Before we do, John, you got a lot going on. I know you're going to be back on the channel tomorrow. We're doing our thing with Dan, but what do you got going on this week?
Yeah, we got Geek Buddy stuff coming up this week. Trying to lock down 2 separate shows on the Outlaw Nation channel. Head on over there, youtube.com/John Roca Says. Michael's been on vacation. They're seeing his family for a little bit, but he's back tomorrow. So I'm trying to lock down, tonight rather. I'm trying to lock down a show where we catch up on Squid Game and Creature Commandos and Momoa's story, maybe even hit on the Golden Globes, and then possibly one on Friday. Jeff and I, of course, did our hot mic this past week, which was a really good one. I think Jeff and I got into it about a couple of things again, which is so much fun to do on the show. We got that coming up this week. We'll be back doing Jedi Way this week, reviewing the new episode of Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew just really hitting a great vibe right now, so we'll be doing that as well. And tonight, I think I am going to do a live watch along of Raw on Netflix. Nice. And do my reaction afterwards, because that is going to be a massive, massive show. And I have a feeling that I'm going to finally start doing shorts, Christian, as you've been begging me to do for 3 years. And I'm going to clip out pieces of myself reacting to things and put them up as shorts. But yeah, that's the situation going on. So head on over there and follow me there and subscribe.
Thanks. We didn't even talk about it. You know what we'll do is let's get through the questions, and maybe someone will bring it up in the questions. But let's get to the questions. We have quite.
Oh, and I just want to say thanks again for last week. That was a lot of fun with me and Winston.
Yeah.
So we'll have a spill the tequila if you guys liked us last week. There'll be another one this week some point, especially with that new bombshell report about Skip Bayless. There's no way Winston and I ain't talking about that lawsuit. Craziness.
All right, you ready to promote enough stuff here? Okay, so Armada finally saw Wicked, and I loved it. The third act was a new level, but the CGI animals look bad at times. Seems like CGI is getting better or worse. He's so right. I think sometimes I mean, like the CGI animals in Gladiator 2 were atrocious.
Horrific.
Atrocious. It's so funny. Like, that movie, out of any movie, is so divisive. Because I'll tell you, my wife just watched it, dude. She loves her favorite movie of the year.
What?
She loved it. My wife loved it. It was her favorite movie of the entire year. And I really liked it a lot. It was my favorite. It didn't make my top 10, but it was. Yeah. I liked it a lot. You did.
Oh, I know you did. You liked it more than I.
Tons of people that didn't like it in general. I saw tons of people who really enjoyed. I saw tons of people who in my list wrote that Gladiator 2 was in their list, and other people who hated it. So what a strange back and forth that movie was.
Yeah, I think it's more of a disappointment for me than Joker, because at least Joker was taking crazy swings.
Wow.
But Gladiator 2 was trying to repeat the same story with less life to it. So. That's my defense.
Yeah, I think that's crazy talk, but all right. Mike Joyce, whatever happened with the East Coast drone swarm? Ignored is what's happening. It's not gone away, by the way. There's a lot of different reports. So people, like, as you know, John, as a lot of people know, I was dealing with the norovirus and dealing with a lot of things. And so the one thing that took a big hit last week was was the UAP channel. I didn't put any videos up last week, and this week I'm going to return to form. My goal is to try to put up at least 1 or 2 a day, and there's a lot of reports that are coming out about what it was. Even that Cybertruck thing, by the way, that happened in front of Trump. That there is rumors that thing was linked to what was apparently going on with those drones, whether it's true or not. But it hasn't gone away. The conversations later, just the media, as always, just isn't reporting it anymore because they're bored with it and they have new nonsense to talk about.
Right? Yeah, craziness to talk about for sure.
Yeah. Ian Davis, Demi Moore winning the Golden Globe after 45 years. Who is an actress that has been in the business for decades that deserves much needed recognition? Pauly Shore. I'd like to see him. He had a good move with that Richard Simmons thing. I'd like to see.
He tried.
He did, but he was good in it. He was good. Did you see that?
I saw clips of it. I think you're being a little biased because of your relationship with his mom.
Maybe.
But I thought it was terrible. I think Tom Cruise, as much as we talk about Tom Cruise, he only rarely gets nominated, and people never give him enough credit for the incredible actor that he actually is. People get caught up in the movie star stuff, and he deserves so much more credit for what he's done as a performer and as an actor. So that's my choice.
I'll tell you who I'd like to see become a movie star, like a big, huge star.
Okay,
is Jason Ritter.
Oh yeah, good guy. Yes,
he's a good guy, but dude, have you ever seen him? Not only he does obviously a spot-on impression of his late great father, right?
Yeah,
he does. And his comic timing, he is so much funnier than you would realize. because he doesn't showcase it as much. He's been in dramas, been other things.
Yeah.
He did this thing on Instagram or whatever it was, and he talked about his wife when he coming back to find these groceries, and he's smelling the stuff. He's like, the arugula's gone bad. The arugula's gone bad, and he does this whole thing. It felt like I was watching John Ritter, but it was him. It's the only original thing. He's very talented, and I would love to see him blow up.
Yeah, he's damn good right now on Matlock. That series with Kathy Bates. He's one of the main characters in that. So yeah, I agree with you. But I think Josh Hartnett has that look locked down, and because I could have seen Jason Ritter in Trap 100%. There's nothing that Josh did in that movie that Jason couldn't have done himself. So that's the unfortunate situation there. But I agree with you. I like Jason a lot.
Such a great guy. Simon Section, Part 1. Christian, I really enjoyed your best of 2024. Thanks, man. Especially when you brought your uncle and he gave you his own inside baseball. What was going on? I was planning to do a double bill of Anora and Nosferatu. Yeah, those are good ones to do. So I will. My uncle is like a massive Bob Dylan guy. Massive.
Oh, nice.
I took him to see the screening, and he was telling.
Did he like?
He loved it. And he was telling me little tidbits. He's like, at the end there, when that lady screams that out, that actually didn't happen there. That happened in London, but I understand why they put it there. And he knew all this shit. It was really cool to hear.
That's great.
So Anora and Nosferatu, that's an interesting one for sure. You're going to get two good movies, but it's funny, John. I had Conclave as my number 10. I think.
Okay,
it was my number 10 in movies, top 10. I don't want to get into the whole thing because I don't want to spoil it, but there's a big reveal at the end, right? Which
at the end,
I think the reveal itself is obviously going to be controversial and other things that happen inside of it, but
sure,
it's not it would have been higher on my list. But the thing was this particular, I don't want to spoil anything, but something happens so fast. And there's a really good speech that's given, and then they go, because of that speech, we're going to do that. And I'm like, what do you know? That's the person, you just met that person. So again, I don't want to get into a big spoiler about it too, but I'll talk to you about it off camera. But I was like, that movie would have been so much higher on my list if they would have just been established a little bit more. That was just too convenient.
But it's all subjective, isn't it? Because I thought the thing in Transformers 1, I thought that turn was way too quick, but you liked it. So it's all a matter of subjective.
I can't articulate my point to you without spoiling things.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's fair. So let's leave it there.
Yeah, we'll leave
but
it. We'll leave it.
It's a damn good movie. I think it's in my top 6.
Cinematography. I'll tell you,
Wednesday.
I would vote for that. And how much I love doing cinematography. I think it's the best cinematography of the year.
And I think the script, which won the Golden Globe as well, I thought the script was incredible.
Yeah, it was good. Carlton Rudder, London calling. What's up, Carlton?
Hey.
Happy New Year. Thank you. Saw Carry On, great movie, and the new Wallace and Gromit movie, which was fine. Yeah, there's another one. I didn't see Carry On. Did you?
Still haven't. I'm so sorry, TJ.
That's the one. That's the one. The Netflix one, right?
Yeah, I'm so sorry, TJ. TJ's a writer, he's a friend of mine. And I haven't watched it yet. I'm a terrible, terrible person.
Yeah, you are. Here's a great year at the movies. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you,
Simon Section. Thank you, Simon. Anora is not playing in my theater, so it's a complete unknown. Do you remember The Greatest Night in Pop on Netflix? No, I don't. If so, do you remember the part when Dylan? Oh, I do actually. Yeah. Yes, now that you said that, where Dylan needed help and Stevie Wonder came to the rescue. Yes, I do. I absolutely do. I forgot that came out 3-4 years ago.
No, a few months ago on Netflix.
A few months ago,
because it's about the We Are the World.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah. It's a really good one. It's a really good, and they came out with a Band-Aid one as well for them making that song. Do They Know It's Christmas? 2 great documentaries about them making about both of those songs that I think everybody should absolutely watch on Netflix and YouTube for sure. I would love to have him create a song called The Outlaw. Please.
I think there is one. I'm pretty sure there is one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is one. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
No way.
I got it. I got it. It's right here. This is this and that.
Sorry, what?
He talked a lot of shit. He put on a cowboy hat.
Ooh, this is good.
Hey, man, get out of my way, squirrel. He had a beef with a guy named Dan Merle. He was the outlaw Roca. Yeah, man. John Roca. Trying to find out if he's woke. Don't be a Joan.
Oh, that's good.
That's good, right? Yeah, that was the one that I remember. It didn't. It never. It was one of the unlisted ones. I never put it out.
Yeah, of course, it's a bootleg. It's just a quick ditty.
Yeah, would have destroyed his career. Armada, genius movie pitches. The Rock plays a former weightlifter who gets tired of working out and decides to only eat donuts. Directed by Ben Affleck. Beautiful.
Oh, I love it.
I say, yeah, that's you're looking. Listen,
that's the beginning of Central Intelligence with him in that fat suit. Do it.
That's AI. That's AI. Armada. So Jerry Jones was in Landman's last app. Is that true? Is that true?
Bruh. If you're not watching Landman, I don't know what to tell you. I'm talking to everybody, not just you, Christian, but it is such a good show. Jerry Jones popped up last night. I had no idea he was going to be on the show, and he acted the F out of his scene.
Really?
Better than some actors I've seen this year in anything. Jerry Jones in that scene, he gets emotional. Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, he gets emotional talking about his family and his kids. There are tears. I was shocked. So if you haven't seen the show, I recommend the show. But if you just want to watch that clip, you're going to be blown away by what this guy can do. Better than some of the actors I've seen this year in anything. It's amazing. Amazing.
Props to look at Roca giving props to Jerry Jones.
I just was so surprised how good he was, man. So surprised.
Corn Emperor, glad that the accumulation of Steal the Tequila won the week.
Hey.
Well, nope. It didn't work out that way. But
cumulative we did, but not individually we didn't.
In Roca's mind they did. All right. Armada. Christian, why do you fart on a stream? Never happens. Never. Oh, that's the wrong song.
Oh.
No, almost good timing. But no one farts on stream. Never happens. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so GoPal, stop that. GoPal says, stop that. GoPal says on this one. GoPal says on this one in particular here. GoPal says, Roca, happy victory Monday over the hated Cowboys. There you go.
Here we come, Tampa. It's going to be a hell of a playoff game on Sunday night.
Go Giants. Armada, can y'all hit the defying gravity high note? No, but I can tell you that it hits in my house every day with my daughter doing it relentlessly to the point of submission. It's like, just please stop.
Not without a sledgehammer to a certain part of my anatomy really, really hard. I can't hit that note. Yeah.
Corn Emperor, I adore Knights of the Republic. I hope it's more of a Zane Carrick story, including Revan, Malak, Bastilla, and the gang. Don't get your hopes up yet until you find out. You got to find out. This is the conversation that we're going to have. There's two things to be said here. One, you got to find out who the showrunner is going to be. You got to find out who is going to be the directors of it. You know, you got to find out the kind of tone that they're going for. That's the first conversation you have. Then the second conversation you got to have is because I'm going to use He-Man as an example now, right? Because Travis Knight gets announced. I'm like, I'm excited. Then I hear they're going to be that Adam's going to be on Earth, and it's going to be this Earth-based story. And I don't know if there's a movie I'm less excited about than that movie.
Wow.
If that indeed is the case, that is the stupidest decision they could have made. I hate it. I hate it. It's the dumbest. I'm so disappointed in Travis Knight on that one, if it's true. Because Travis Knight, I felt, would get it, and clearly he doesn't, if that's the case. Spoontastic 95, not to get political, but have you ever shat your pants? That's true.
Yeah.
I think when I think it was like 12 or 13, I remember coming back from a although I'll tell you what, with this norovirus over the toilet, I was throwing up over the toilet, and at the same time you get a cough, and it's like, oh, there's an explosion ready to go. It didn't happen, but it came close. Yeah.
Like Jeff Daniels in Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, it was close. But probably like 12 or 13. Yeah.
I've done it twice. Once a few years ago, because I made the mistake coming home from Collider back when we were working together there, of having broccoli and mac and cheese, and then driving 30 minutes back to my house, and I did not make it. I was literally 2 minutes from my house when it happened, and it was the most embarrassing thing. Thankfully, I was wearing brown pants, and I walked right into the house and just, took a shower, cleaned everything. It was the worst.
That's why you need a car cam. All right.
Old people know what you can eat and what you can't eat. That's what I would say. Good.
Oh, this one was surprising. I agree with Pete Parker. Pete Parker 2288. Jodie Foster. Come on, that show was pretty bad. I didn't think it was. I never finished it, to be honest. Who was she nominated against? Because I think there were people that were better than her this year. I think she won on.
She was great.
You think
That's who they probably were mentioning in the comeback thing. That's probably who they mentioned was her and Demi. Let's see. I don't know who she was. I forget who she was. I thought she deserved it. I thought she was great in that show. I thought that show was fantastic. I don't know what Peter Parker thinks he watched, but it wasn't the show because it was great. She was fantastic.
You tell me in a second. Sherlock 277. Hey guys, do you guys think, given this controversy surrounding Emilia Perez from the LGBT community, that will hurt the movie's Oscar chances? Yes. Maybe. Yeah, maybe so.
I think it will. Not just them, the Latino stuff too. I mean, they went after Selena Gomez, Eugenio Derbez. Of course, he apologized after her, but he went after her, and a lot of people were chiming in how terrible her Spanish was. But I mean, people don't understand the movie. They haven't seen the movie. She's not supposed to be of Mexican birth. She's supposed to be a Chicana, so her Spanish is not supposed to be on point. She speaks English with no accent, so she's not supposed to be that. But people took that and ran with it and were bashing the film. So, and some of the music, I just think, it's going to get pushback from those communities, and I think eventually that's going to sink it when it comes to the Oscars. So Jodie was nominated against Kate Blanchett for Disclaimer, Kristen Milioti for The Penguin, Sofia Vergara for Griselda, Naomi Watts, and Kate Winslet. Go ahead, Mike.
I think Kristen Milioti was better than Jodie Foster. Come on, man. She came out of nowhere.
Can't go that far.
Oh, I think you're wrong.
Either way they went would have been fine.
This is a great story.
Okay.
Armada says, breaking, Will Smith in the next Matrix movie. I just did a search, and there's a rumor that he's going to be in the next Matrix movie, right? Which would be a full circle, because he was supposed to. Well, he was supposed to play Neo.
Yeah.
He was originally the Wachowskis wanted him to play Neo, and he passed on it. So it would be pretty interesting if they brought him into the next Matrix movie. So I'm all for it.
It's a great way to save it, because like that last one was horrible, and so
who's in it? Who's doing the next one? It's someone really good directing it, right?
I don't know if they've said.
Yeah, they did. They did. I'm pretty sure they announced it. Who's directing Matrix 5? Let's see. It's Drew Goddard. Yeah, Drew Goddard.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, Drew Goddard, which is perfect. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Drew Goddard doing a Matrix movie. I think it's time to get some new directors on the Matrix. I think it's time for a new fresh take, because I don't think the Wachowskis really care about it anymore. I think they were pushed into that last one.
Well, it might not be a coincidence, Christian, because he didn't want to do it with the Wachowskis. He's told the story. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the animated version of the story, which I think is very funny if you find it on social media. But clearly, they didn't pitch the film the way it should have been pitched, and he wasn't on board with it. Drew Goddard comes in, probably pitches a completely different version of The Matrix or as a sequel here, and now Will's on board. There can't be a coincidence, man. He says he probably feels more comfortable in the hands of Drew Goddard than he did under the Wachowskis back then. So I don't fault him.
Or the Wachowskis. All right, let's see. So, yes, boy. Did y'all see Hey Dwayne clip of Vin Diesel at the Golden Globes? Oh, yeah. Thought the final boss was about to come out. Yeah, he was. I like that he kept himself. He didn't even, he just like smiled and let it go.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's gonna. You think he'll talk about it at all?
I bet he'll make a comment in the promo on Raw. 100%.
You think so?
100%.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
100%. He'll make
maybe you're right.
Some quick aside about it, and then move on.
I think you're right. I think he might throw a shot, because Netflix, huge platform, first Raw ever.
Come on,
what a way! I think you're right. I think
it's not a Disney platform; it's Netflix, so he can absolutely.
I think you're right. Dancing Dog 60 guys. Vrabel next Patriots head coach. Yes.
Yeah, probably, because I think they screwed Jared Mayo over. But that being said, they clearly didn't see what they wanted to see, and so I think Vrabel absolutely becomes the next coach. But he's going to fail too. Let's put that on the table. He's going to fail too.
Yeah, it's a matter of good coach here. You got to have the right things in place.
Exactly.
All right, so 57 questions, John. Not
nice.
Bad. With about a half an hour left to go.
Okay.
Mike Joyce, what up, Mike? Watched Say Anything for the first time the other day, and I loved it. It's a great movie. Why is the boombox scene regarded as iconic? Is it because of the song playing? I think it's everything. I think it's the time that it happened in the 80s, that it's impactful. The song itself, it's Peter Gabriel, right? And John Cusack at the time. I don't know if there was a bigger 80s actor at that point. Just the things just lined up, and it just carries over throughout time.
Bruh, let me tell you something, Mike, because you're probably a youngin'. Back then in the 1980s, making a mix for a girl you liked was massive. And you had to spend all time on the radio waiting for the song to come on. You'd record it, and then you'd put it on with a bunch of other songs you recorded. So it took time and effort. You couldn't just burn it off YouTube. You had to actually spend time. And so boom boxes were massive in the mid 1980s. So having him hold that when he's outside her house to sing, it's just a massive moment for people from the 1980s. And so the people who feel it know it. Why? The guys like you came afterwards, you don't get it, but that's just it's just the way it goes. People will one day not get your stuff from nowadays or the generation before. That's how it goes.
P. Parker 2288. Christian, I was surprised to not see Apes on your list this year. I thought it was great. I feel like no one is putting it on their list. I'll tell you, there's a reason why.
Okay.
I forgot about the movie. I probably would have had it as number 10, and I'll tell you, Conclave probably would have been in the honorable mentions.
Which one?
Conclave would have probably been honorable mentions.
You moved it down from 10. Yeah.
Easily would have put Apes in there had I remembered it. I was going through my entire list, and I went through everything. I said, I'm not forgetting anything. And then someone wrote that on my thing. I said, oh, my God, I forgot Apes. I love that movie. I loved it. Loved Kingdom of the Planet. Definitely would have made it 10. So the answer was, I forgot.
You should do an amendment video if you can.
I'll do it tomorrow on tomorrow's list. Well, I'll bring it up on tomorrow. I'll bring it up on tomorrow because that's one of the goals that I'll make sure is that I don't forget to mention that tomorrow. But yeah, it definitely would have made my top 10. So you were surprised, so was I. Let's see. Spoontastic 95. Hey. Did you see the news on a Social Network prequel series? No, but who's going to be in it? It can't be another actor playing Zuckerberg, right?
Why would you want to do a prequel? Like, I don't understand the prequel approach. Are you going to go up to Sean with his Napster stuff? Because that was dying right when he got involved with Facebook. I guess that's a way to go. But
a sequel will be better.
Yes, agreed. Oh my God.
So many different reasons. I love to see Jesse Eisenberg reprise the role. And then especially after all the shit that's gone down with Facebook and the
Zuckerberg,
with the years. I mean, that movie came out in 2010. The stuff that's come out, even the things that have happened between 2010 to 2024, I'd love to see. So a prequel series, I hate that idea.
It's like a John McClane prequel series. I don't get that.
No, and they stopped that pretty quick because thank God Len Wiseman was going to do it. Mad Sinister Macau, Beth Snyder, Roca versus James Gunn tonight on Raw. Yeah, you're gonna show up and fight James Gunn
again. I love James Gunn. I can't understand people can't take a little bit of criticism about their hero.
You're a turncoat. You're a turncoat on James Gunn, and you're a turncoat on The Rock. You hate them both. That's all you do.
I do love The Rock.
Yeah, you turn on them all the time. Mike Joyce. Sebastian Stan can still win the Best Actor award for The Apprentice over Adrian Brody if the Golden Globes have the courage. What do you mean? How does that? Golden Globes. You mean the Oscars?
Golden Globes don't nominate anybody for the Oscars.
He can still win the Best Actor award for The Apprentice over Adrian
Brody. Maybe he's saying if the Golden Globes had the courage to nominate him or have him win, then maybe he can win. He won't get nominated.
Nah, nobody.
They're not going anywhere near that movie.
Yeah, 60 questions, John. Doing great.
Oh, nice. Thank you, guys.
Spoontastic 95. Heartbreaking to see Chantel Montoya getting snubbed for the best trans editor at the Rick James Jr. Awards last night. Talking about a cutting room floor.
I have no idea what that means.
Me either.
Literally zero.
I don't know enough about it. All right. Next one, and this is Darian Harmon. Dude, how's nobody not talking about Ali Larter's performance in Landman? She has completely disappeared into a character that's so 100%. Far outside of her perceived range as an actress, just mind-blowing. You agree with that, Joe?
Oh, yeah, 100%. People are bashing the way Taylor is writing women on this show, and you all ain't watching the show, clearly, because this is a woman with quite a few levels to her and complexity, and she is delivering on those moments so powerfully that people are just sleeping on her. So I agree. Great to bring that up, brother. Ali is another great performer in that show. Colin Farrell as well. The young kids, all of them are doing great work on that show, along with Ham and Demi Moore. So yeah,
you're gonna be mad at me because I had a shot to interview her for that show, and I said I'm not watching. I said I'm not watching the show. I don't know.
Why don't you give me these interviews? What's wrong with you, dude?
Sorry. T. Weiler, love y'all. Both of you created beautiful communities. Thank you so much. What a nice thing to say. Yeah, it's been really solid here, and we had so many new members, by the way, and a lot of those because of Nerds Engage. We got like so many new members, and I'm releasing a whole bunch of unedited reactions.
Nice.
So and speaking of which, Iron Man 3 was supposed to come out, but there was a problem with the footage, so I'm hoping to get that out there today at some point.
Okay, that's enough
on my own channel, sure. P. Parker 2288. So neither Mangold or Denis were nominated. What is going on with that show? I think maybe 5% of the country has heard of the Brutalist. I know. That's what I mean. It's just like it's not for that's like why they can't complain about viewership.
No, I know.
You can't complain about viewership because you're not making these shows for the mainstream audience, but yet you want them to watch it.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Yeah. I constantly don't understand. I've never understood it. For years and years, people complaining about the ratings on a show like this. It had nothing to do with ratings. Zero.
Yeah, the reason why it used to do well in the ratings is because there were movies that everybody had seen, and you had a horse to root for. You don't have any horses to root for now.
Yeah.
Dancing Dogs 60. Annie Hall beats Star Wars as best picture, though. Yeah, but Annie Hall, even that, you got to remember back then in 77 or whatever, it's a very different film world where people were going to. Annie Hall was not a small movie. Annie Hall was a movie with Woody Allen people were going to see. That was like the main. Star Wars was an anomaly. Star Wars created the blockbuster. Annie Hall was the movies that where people were going out to see in theaters. Everybody knew what Annie Hall was. I wasn't like a movie that just, what's that movie? Annie Hall, I never heard of it. So that argument does not hold up. Mad Sinister Macau. Have you ever seen I Saw the Devil? South Korean film.
Yep.
Which one's that?
That's the guy who he kidnaps a serial killer to torture him for what he thinks they did to his wife. It's a insanely awesome film. Insanely awesome film. Yeah.
Okay. No,
it's brutal. Effing brutal.
I mean, just the premise alone sounds like it. Armada. Kristen Milioti acted better than Jodie Foster? I think so. But that apparently
I'm going to disagree. But
okay. Nerds Engaged does it again.
Hey.
He's gifted 5 memberships to people. Thank you so much. Very nice. Perfect time to do it now too, because like I said, we're going to be releasing a whole bunch of unedited reactions. Probably today is going to start. Renetta W. Happy New Year, lovely. Nikki Glazer was fantastic. Agreed. Loved her. I laughed out loud numerous times during that broadcast. Stanley Tucci freak off. Yeah, shit.
The Tooch.
She was great. She was absolutely great. I was always a fan. I became more of a fan yesterday. 63 so far. John, can you hit 100 today? That is the question.
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Come on, guys.
Mad Sinister Macau. Where'd you get the Storm Shadow bust? He looks pissed. That one, I believe, came from Gentle Giant, I believe, back in the day. It's love. Absolutely love their stuff. All right. Oh, I got to highlight this one. Galaxy Geeks. Christian was right about Mufasa. Had to highlight it. Beto Power.
Oh.
Hey guys, do you think us Mexicans are being too harsh on Emilia Perez? I just found the movie to be an insult to all my country. Sad it won awards. Well, being the Latino in the chat here, let me speak on this. Go ahead, Sean.
Speak on it, man. No, I don't think so at all. I think you have every right to feel the way you do. And look, the people who made it aren't Mexican. And so you have a right to call them out and say, you are not doing service to our country. You're not portraying this correctly. But there are some Mexicans who are coming out in defense of the movie. So it's clearly, as we said about another film, it's divisive. It's a divisive movie. Its intentions are right in your face. It is absolutely trying to provoke a reaction. But yes, I think a bit more care could have been taken with addressing Mexico, addressing the culture, addressing how they did certain things. So I think you're absolutely valid to be upset, and no one should take that away from you. You're not being too harsh at all.
RB3 loved it. All right. Pete Parker, 2288. Any hype for Den of Thieves 2? No, look, I have to watch the first one. I'm going to see the second one on Thursday, so I want to see the first one before I go see it. But I'm curious about it. I like those guys, so I like those kinds of movies. I don't know how it's going to do in the theater, but I like going to see movies like that in the theater. Yeah,
you said I don't have a screening. Do you have a screening for it? So you just go on Thursday on a regular Thursday.
No, I have a screening. I have a screening on Thursday, but it's coming. Oh. That's when the screening is. It's on Thursday.
Yeah,
the night before the movie. Yeah, the night before the movie. So
yeah, no, I don't know. I haven't heard anything, but I like that first Den of Thieves movie, so we'll see how this one does.
Yeah, we'll see. Fabricia Rojas.
Yeah.
Finished Lost Stars, and wow, fantastic book. Oh, yeah. I don't understand why Lucasfilm won't adapt it for being too inside baseball. The Ahsoka finale was 10 times more inside baseball than Lost Stars ever was. Couldn't agree with you more. I'm just telling you what I heard at that time is that they didn't think that it would work, and it was 2 particular people that thought that, and I think that those people don't understand what is going on. They absolutely should have adapted that. Would have been great. And they could have done some fun stuff with that. And they could have done some deepfake stuff with that could have not been too jarring. It would have worked well. Mad Sinister McCall. I didn't see the Brody speech. His nose was an LP nice. I'm allowed to say that because I have a big nose. I had a zit on my nose and kids call me Rudolph. No, he can't. He's still making fun of me.
No one can verify that you have a big nose.
Yeah, I know. Come on. Al Rensha. I got excited by the video title. I've wanted to see Knights of the Republic and Revan for a while. They should show Revan as Sith Jedi, and we should see Malak Bane Trey. You could do so much if they find the right people. Yeah. You could do so much, and you could do you could do a full episode on just when they find the dude and he's training to be a Jedi, and they find him and they're getting him ready for it, and he starts to develop the relationship with Bastilla. You could do so much just on that training episode alone. Side missions that happen, you could do episodes, and there's so much that you could do in this world that I'm telling you, just depends on who is producing it. It just depends on who's show running it. If it's going to be a Filoni production, then count it out before it even starts.
Yeah.
All right, next one, Don Ronaldo McWhiskey. My Disney stock on Robinhood is doing very well after last year. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Boom.
Nice.
Shakalaka. Kai Peterson, any chance you binge Skeleton Crew after the whole season is out? I know you haven't wanted to bother, but we'd love to see a reaction review from you. I don't know. I want to finish Dune first. That's the first thing I want to get to. I want to get to Dune. I want to finish Tulsa King. I didn't finish Tulsa King yet. I want to finish. There's so many other things I want to finish before I get to that. I mean, one day maybe. I mean, I hear, like I said, I haven't heard a bad thing about it. I mean, everything I hear is that it's been getting good. I just don't know if I've been interested in anything less. Like I said, I just don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
But I know what's going to happen. If I do watch it, I'll probably be like, oh, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then I'll never think of it ever again. I don't know, maybe I'll get to it. I don't know. Let's see. Joyous Romer. May the force be with you guys, and also with you.
Also with you.
Is that what you say now? Yeah, I guess so. Okay. Go, pal. The 20,000 League story reminds me of the bridge on River Kwai. I never finished that after Cool Obi-Wan said I will not have an officer from my battalion working as a coolie. Oh, all right. Well, there you go.
There you go.
That's an old school movie. They show you that in film school the second you get there. Cool 657. Rumor on the street too is that Lucasfilm is looking new and upcoming directors like Marvel. Is that true? I saw a couple indie filmmakers hang with Star Wars cast members on social media. Rumor on the street is that they look. I mean,
looking for new. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I look. It depends on. Like I said, I don't know what's going on over there. It's like they try to grab who's the hot and popular. They're not paying attention. That's what I mean. Like, what are you going to focus on? You're going to focus on who can tell your story the best, or who you think is people like to see now.
These filmmakers might be hanging out with these Star Wars stars because they want to put them in their movies, not necessarily because they want to work for Lucasfilm. So you never know. But they'd be foolish not to be talking to directors. That's for sure.
Not sure. Go, pal. I figured no point watching Bridge on the River Kwai if you're not rooting for the bad guys. I haven't seen that movie in so long.
I figured no point watching Bridge if you're rooting for the bad guys. Oh, no, that's not the point. No, the point of the movie, and we did an episode on it on the Cinephiles on my podcast. The point of the movie is about how you can get caught up in being so you're being caught up in your pride to do good work without realizing how you're serving other people in doing that work, good work, and you have to wake up out of it. It's like a Stockholm Syndrome type of thing, exploration. It's a really good film. Definitely watch it.
Galaxy Geeks using his membership super chat to say, I had to show some love to Roka. He did a great job last week.
Oh, thanks, bud.
And so did you. You did a great job, too, helping us out.
Thank you, Luke. 100%. Yes.
John, you got Evil John Madden in here. Love that Roka is growing a stash. He will no longer be the outlaw. He will be known as El Guapo from the Three Amigos. Roka is now infamous.
Badgers? We don't need stinking badgers. Oh, I just haven't shaved for a couple of days.
You had that mustache when you were like 13 in high school, right?
Yeah, that's why I don't grow it, because it looks like I'm a sexual predator. No thanks.
Hank Pym. Yeet. Any predictions for Raw? There we go. On Netflix tonight. Does Mammy get her back her belt? It's going to be a stack show all around tonight. I would like it if she doesn't get it back.
You don't want Rhea to get the belt back?
I do, but not tonight. Oh. I want her to get it back at WrestleMania. I think you let it. It's been one of the best feuds they've had in a very long time. You let this thing go because everyone thinks she's going to get it back tonight. Right. Flip it on its head and let her lose. Let her lose, whatever it is, and then have it go down. Then you got to do some. What's the stipulation tonight? Is there one?
No, it's just a women's world championship match.
Right. And then WrestleMania is stipulation, whether it's
it'll probably
cage, whether it's no disqualification, whether it's whatever it is. Go balls to the wall, and let that be the end, and let her get her belt back at WrestleMania.
There's got to be a twist if she doesn't win the belt back.
Right.
Tonight. There's got to be
some kind of twist, some kind of thing that happens. But I think it's predictable to let her win it, and she probably will. But I think take it away. I think we're going to see kind of a full heel turn from CM Punk.
Yeah, you think so? Versus Seth?
I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so. I'd like to see him. The problem is, ain't nobody going to root against him.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You try to turn him heel. I just don't know. You maybe I switch that. Maybe you go full heel turn from Seth.
I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. And the way that promo went down last week, Jesus Christ, they set fire to everybody in the room. So
and
to me, I think absolutely it'll go that way. Yeah.
And Punk, and you could. I take it back. I think you got to, if you're going to turn anybody, you got to turn Seth, because you get people chanting. People just will not root against that guy. It doesn't matter what he does. Doesn't matter
no.
Yeah. And then
I think Jay versus Drew McIntyre is the other match tonight. There's only 4 because you got Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa for the Ulafala and the title of Tribal Chief. I think The Rock's going to come in and I think The Rock's going to want to be the final chief. That's what I think he's going to be.
And then Solo wins because of The Rock's interference, or whatever, or Roman wins and then Rock comes out afterwards to challenge. Right. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be like a full on WrestleMania thing.
Join me live tonight.
They're going to go all out for sure.
Totally.
I'm also doing a live stream too.
Yeah, are you?
No, I'm not. All right, let's see. Mad Sinister McCall. Great twist would be if Conclave winner is Satan. You got Dana Carvey come out and do it. All right. Joe for show. Is there a movie you can't stand that a lot of people love or like? I always give the same answer for this one. For me, it's The Menu. It shocked me because it's a great cast. I couldn't stand it. I like The Menu. Just Friends. Hate that movie. Everybody else loves it.
I love that movie. Jesus, you're insane.
Hate it. Never watched it.
Twisters. I can't stand Twisters.
You hate? Really?
I don't understand why people like that movie.
I really enjoyed that movie.
Bored me to tears.
Wow. Eric Kirby. Mr. Roca, I need my game time fix. Shame on you.
Hey, brother, it's about scheduling. Winston's been busy with a lot of things. We're going to try to schedule something next couple of days. But I will let you know. We will see what's up. We definitely want to do predictions for the playoffs. So we might skip the early part of the week and just do something on Thursday or Friday and put it out to predict the game. So just look for that hopefully sometime this week. Yeah. Thanks, bud.
Dennis Hoffman. Hey, John, I always love the showcasing of comics on your background. Have you read anything new that you were going to recommend? Christian, have you checked out Skybound's G.I. Joe relaunch? No, Skybound. I'm just kidding. Skybound's doing great stuff, man. They really are. And I think that I love the stuff that they've done. The fact that they are doing G.I. Joe. I've heard nothing but wonderful things. I haven't read it yet, but I'd love to. And I'd like to work with Skybound. I really like those guys over there. They're good people.
Yeah.
They got some good people over there. What do you got?
I think the most recent run of the Uncanny X-Men has been fantastic. So if you're not reading that, I'd highly recommend that one as well. But I don't know. There's a comic book store that's here near where I live, and I've been thinking about maybe going over there and seeing if I can work out some deal to get some of those comics and then highlight them during the week on a show. So we will see. But stay tuned for that.
Right. I'm not gonna read this one, but I got.
Okay.
You want me to highlight it?
Sure. What is it?
It's just.
How do you think I'm afraid to answer these questions? I'm not afraid.
This isn't a question. This is just.
Okay.
Love Keeks, who I love normally. I'm not gonna highlight this one because you're
not gonna put it up there.
No, I'm not gonna put
Why?
it up. He just says he says you. I'll say you stink. That's what I'll say. That's all I'm gonna say. But
that's all. That's the best he's got.
No, but I just don't want to get into it.
Come on, put it up. No, you have to put it up now. You have to put it up now.
I don't.
I'll be Nikki Glazer. I'll be close to the line.
It's not nice. Oh. It's borderline. Yeah, I'll put it up there quick. Look, there you go.
Juan Rocha sucks. There you go. That's the best they got. Only gave $2. Must be tough out there getting a job.
Evil John Madden. Jared Mayo should be fired for losing the #1 pick.
Jared Mayo. What? You already have Drake May. Who are you going to get as the #1 pick for the New England Patriots? Are going to turn your season around next year? He's not out there.
All the Giants had to do. All the Giants had to do to get the other, like 2 weeks ago, was lose. That's all they had to do. They've been doing that all season, and they win. Idiots.
Also, Jared put in a third-string quarterback. He didn't know he was going to try to win the game.
Hank Pym, 2024 movie that people love, but you thought stonks. For me, it was Wicked. Really, thought the script was brutally generic and the songs were bland. What movie do people love this year that I thought stunk?
I've heard from people that they have that feeling about Wicked, that they don't like the song.
I liked that movie. I liked more than there was the opposite. That movie, you and I both didn't like those trailers at all.
Yes, no, agreed.
I thought that movie was going to be terrible. I actually really enjoyed it. What movie did people love this year? I got to see some of the best lists.
Beetlejuice. I thought that movie was not good, and people loved it. And I already said Twister, so those are my two answers.
I don't know. What's in your top? What's some of your top movies? Read some of your top movies, John. I'll say.
Dune Part 2, Wicked, Conclave, Brutalist, Anora. These are some of my top ones here.
Yeah, I don't know. Not
what
sure.
about Furiosa? You liked Furiosa?
It was on my top 10. It was on my top 10. Yeah.
Civil War. People like Civil War.
I like Civil War a lot. Yeah, should have been honored to mention that one too.
Nosferatu is in my list as well.
Mine too. Yeah, so I don't know.
Okay.
Joe for show, watching Raw tonight, feeling a lot of hype around it. Yeah, I'm going to be shooting a reaction of another MCU movie today with Sam tonight. So when I get home, I'm probably going to watch it on the replay.
Cool.
Yeah, they still do the replay, right?
Yeah. Well, it's on Netflix, so you'll be able to watch it whenever you want to watch it.
Okay, good. Pete Parker, 2288. Monica Barbero as Joan Baez. Whoa, Smoke Show. She was really good.
She was good in the film.
Really, really good. All right, Retro Rebels. After watching some classic matches, I've had a resurgence in pro wrestling. I think Netflix Premiere is a great way for people to get back into it after an absence. You guys tuning in? Yes, and I do think you know what it is. Also, I was thinking about this. Is that Netflix is just so much easier to find it than, and with the promotion than like what was it on? It was on USA, right?
The USA, yeah.
Like to go, like unless you're DVRing it or going to find it on Hulu or whatever, you're going to search for it. Netflix is just going to pop up. And you're like, oh yeah, I'll check it out, and you can fast forward the way it fast forward through it and all that. I just feel like it's going to be a lot easier for them, and the production, they're going to give them more money to do it, right?
I just wonder how many people are going to get Netflix who would normally have Netflix to get Raw. So I'm going to be real curious about the numbers if they ever release them. But yeah, I think it's great in retro for other people who want to get into classic stuff. I cannot recommend the WWE Vault YouTube channel enough. That has so much retro stuff, and they are curating some of the best retro stuff you've ever seen. So definitely go on, find that WWE Vault YouTube channel and enjoy yourself. You'll lose hours.
Love Cox, I appreciate you putting in the super test, but I'm not going to read hateful stuff. So you can ask for a refund if you want from. I'm not going to read it.
Why are you so angry? Love, please. Why are you so angry? What makes you so upset? You're not like a person who's opinionated and has strong feelings about things. Like, what is wrong?
There's certain things that, like, you're busting balls and that types of thing. Then but when it comes to like just hateful stuff, I'm not. I can't put it up there. So
don't see it there. You shouldn't be this angry.
But I just want to see if you can do a refund. You should try to get a refund.
You guys won. Shouldn't you be happy you won? You should be happy.
Julius Wyatt. Well, tomorrow's show will be 3 hours long. Can't wait. I gotta see how long I can keep the guys on for. But like I'm getting their list, and we're gonna just kind of go back and forth, and we're gonna try to go through as many as we can, and then we'll get to your questions. So I just gotta see. It's one of my favorite shows of the year, so I'm excited. Agreed. Ewok. Hey, Christian, given that you've worked on The Bachelor, I've always been curious. How does reality TV work? Like, is it a good deal actually scripted? It's not scripted. It isn't scripted. It's like, but the thing is this. It's like what we know is that a lot of it's done in the editing too, right? So I'll give you a few examples of that in a second. But let's say John's one of the contestants on the show, and in the background you have a whole bunch of people who are watching everything that's going on. And then you go, hey, we really need a soundbite from John saying that he does not like what's going on here. Does he? He's like, no, he's having a good time. Is he really? He's having a good time. It's all right. Well, you know what we could do is let's get him in the interview, and let's see like if there's anyone that he's not liking, and then it's like, okay, he thought the one guy, he's like, oh, the one guy over there is a stupid hat. Go get him to go in the hat. Talk to him about the hat. Why do you hate the hat? And then the whole thing becomes about the hat. And it's like, so they do that. And the other thing that I've seen this happen. They had this date with this girl, and she was on one of the contestants on the boat, and and it was the date was fine, and they're like, you know what, we want to make it look like it's a really awkward date, and so they cut it in a way where it was really awkward, and they paused on our face looking up, and it played like it's so awkward, and they're like, you know what, we want him to be a little more beloved. Can you make it look like they actually had a really good time? And that's what they do. So it's not scripted. It's just manipulation. That's what. Yeah. Hank Pym, Landman spinoff. Just Ali Larter and the daughter on a beach in Hawaii. Woof woof. Roka knows what's up. I don't know what's going on there, so I guess.
Yeah. I don't think that spinoff would work because you kind of need the balance of the other storylines to make that spinoff stand out, or make that storyline stand out. So yeah, you got to have the balance. And I hear your point.
Ewok, please do a Squid Game watch along. What a show! I'm pretty sure. Look, this week my goal is to I'm probably going to watch them. I'm probably going to watch the first season by myself, and then I'll probably watch the second season by myself. If people watch it, so we'll see. Yeah. Spidey Sensei 72. I love Roka's Yankees hat. Is that from the new era? Yeah. If so, what is the description so I can buy one too?
Oh man, I bought it a while ago. So why don't you DM me and I will send you the link. I'll go back in my stuff and find it. Send you the link. It is my favorite hat that I currently own. It is breathable. It's comfortable. I highly recommend it.
Love that. Corn Emperor just putting in a buck. Thank you, Corn.
Thank you.
Karen.
Hey.
R.I.P. to Jeff Bain, Aubrey Plaza's husband. This is terrible, this story.
Yeah.
Terrible. I read this the other day and I felt so bad, obviously, for Aubrey Plaza in general, and then the struggles that this poor guy was probably going through and everything too. And that's why we always say, like, if you're having struggles, man, just talk to people. Easier said than done, but it's horrible to hear. Absolutely horrible. My heart and everything else goes out to the family. It's just terrible.
You never know what anyone is going through, no matter how much they looks like they have everything going on. You just never know. And
horrible.
Please don't judge people who make this decision, because you just don't know what their battle was. And I always say this: mental health is a battlefield, and you just like in a battle, you never know who's going to go down and why you're still fighting. You just never know.
It's true. Yeah. Grayified X. Yes, the JOD human Jedi force powers. It is strong with the lifting more than pirates. Much abilities do not stip victorious Jedi. Young children no redeem. I don't necessarily know what any of that means.
I don't know what any of that means.
I'm sorry, but I appreciate it very much so that you put the donation, but I didn't fully comprehend that. Corn Emperor, Roka doubleheader. I can't wait for the Merle episode. Yeah, me too. It's gonna be a good one. We're gonna have some fun. Rockin' movies with Tyler. What up, man? Hey yo, out in this plow, the snow, saying, "Put on the heat." Keep a happy year. That was one of my favorite memories as a kid, ever.
Well,
it's like, so when I was like I was in the Hamptons. My friend Murray. He's like, and they had people in the basement. They're screaming. We locked them in the basement. They're screaming, "Put on the heat! Put on the heat!" This is so good. Joe for show.
Hey,
Hope. It is snowing here too, by the way.
It is. Oh wow.
Yeah. Hope Ben Johnson leaves the Lions for Arlington.
Yeah, for Texas. Everyone's going to Dallas Cowboys. Well, we'll see what happens.
We'll see
if they even retain him.
Yeah, then Winston can become a Cowboys fan again. I'm just kidding. He never bailed on them. Simon Section, guys, is it just me? But I'm concerned about the representation of tech when it comes to the time of these sci-fi shows. I gave up on Dune. You mean that bodysuit shield is 10,000 years old before Paul? I understand the argument. I really do understand 10,000 years of the same technology. And then someone said, well, they wanted to get away from the technology because the battle with the machines and everything, but still 10,000 years. I get it. I think they could have probably done 1,000 years and gotten away with it. 10,000 years is quite a time. I chose to ignore it. If you can't ignore it, I get it. But did that bother you, John?
No, not at all. I mean, those are those little things that, like, look, it's the story that's supposed to work here. The tech, you can get upset. You might as well go back in Star Trek and start breaking that stuff down, or Star Wars, and go like, wait a minute, why does this console look so much more advanced than the one I saw in A New Hope? Those are those things you have to kind of create space for. So it didn't bother me to see that kind of stuff. Look, we have cars still, right? And how long have cars been around? So, 4 wheels and an engine. So, anyway.
I love this question. Rashad Green, hey, y'all, if you could choose 3 legends from the Schmodown to make you laugh or cheer you up, who would you choose?
Ooh.
Easy for me.
Okay, go ahead.
I go Dagnino.
Yeah.
Kaiser.
Yeah.
And Brother Lomas.
Brother Lomas, 100%.
Yeah. With Rick Radis right behind.
Yeah, that's a good twosome. I would throw Knapsack in there. Knapsack is, he's going to be hosting a night of comedy coming up soon. So I think Knapsack was a very fun. Like when he hosted the show, the After Schmodown show, whatever it was called. I forget what it was, Beyond the Schmodown, whatever it was called.
Yeah.
I thought he was fantastic as a host and very funny when he called the matches as well. And Ellis, of course, duh.
Well, here's one that's not as bad, but so here he is again. How many wieners do you eat at Wiener Schnitzel? There you go.
I don't even eat hot dogs. Are you crazy? That shit'll kill you.
Pete Parker 2288. Roka, how can we get Christian to watch Landman?
Bro. He's got 30 shows in his queue.
Much. And movies.
Yeah, movies.
Okay, let's see.
We got to put Julia Roberts in it. That's what I watch. Maybe she'll be in the second season.
Evil John Madden, trying to say this with respect. I don't mind Roka hosting when you're gone, but for the love of God, get someone else other than Winston. Anyone else. Come on, Winston's the best.
What? How dare you?
Winston's the best. Winston's the best.
Your point of maybe a little variety, I can understand that, but Winston's fantastic. You know.
He comes back again. This time he loves Roka.
Oh,
there you go. Perfect. So you turned him.
One of my ex-girlfriends. It has to be one of my ex-girlfriends.
Has to be. Ethan Lindharris, showing my support for the Outlaw. Look at this.
Thank you.
Okay. So then you get back to more love from Corn Emperor says
Roka. Hey, thank you guys. Maybe
Tristan Green, what do you guys think of Tiffany Stratton Cashin? Does she get a long run? Big fan of you both. I'd like to see. I'm worried that they're not capitalizing on her. Like
that's why they cashed it in.
They did.
They want to see what they have.
When did they cash it in?
Friday on SmackDown. She cashed it in and she beat Nia. She's the champion now.
Oh, did she? I didn't even know.
Yeah, I was really surprised on a SmackDown.
Wow.
Yeah. But
I didn't even know that. See, I've been out of the loop. So good. They should let her have a run then.
Yeah, she's totally gonna get a long run. I mean, come on. Blonde, good looking, and can wrestle like crazy.
She can wrestle. No reason. She's got a lot of personality too. And now he loves everything. I don't know. I guess he was just having a bad hour. Ethan Lindharris, do you have an actor you'd like to see as Revan? I'd like to see an unknown as Revan. Cast it around, a bunch of different people and make him an unknown. That's how I'd like to see. You got somebody in general, or he could be. I mean, you can make him anything. You know who if you're gonna go movie star, you know who I'd like to see?
Who?
Tom Hardy.
Oh wow!
I'd love to see Tom Hardy.
That's how you bring him into the Star Wars universe.
100%.
A lot of people clamored for it.
Love to see him.
You know what? I can't do better than Tom Hardy. That's a great choice.
Just depends on how old you want to make him, because Tom Hardy's got mid 40s now at this point. Armada, Travis Scott going to be on Raw tonight.
Oh, cool. All right.
Nerds Engaged. Thoughts on Matt Reeves giving a little update on the Batman Part 2 last night? Shooting this year. Hope fans are surprised with what they're doing. What was the update? Do you know?
Yeah, just that he's going to be shooting later on. Exactly what Nerds Engaged said. He didn't say too much. He just said they're going to start shooting this year, which is a bit of a reveal, because remember, James Gunn's been saying the script's not ready. We don't know when we're going to shoot. The script's not ready. We've pushed the release date. So him saying they're going to shoot this year clearly implies that his intentions are for the script to be ready, or the script is actually ready, and they know they're going to be shooting later on this year. But I think he had to say something, because the noise has been so loud about what's going on behind the scenes, and they haven't revealed anything yet. So I'm glad he said something. And not that he owes us anything. I'm just glad he said
still, it's good that he did. Hank Pym. Rhea is my favorite woman in the WWE, but the Liv stuff is getting stale at this point. I hope she wins and it ends. Also, thoughts on Tiffany's cash in. Well, we talked about Tiff's cash in for sure. But yeah, I mean, look, John can speak on this a little bit more than I can, because like I said, I've been kind of a casual viewer at this point, watching from afar. I've been watching now, like I'll watch the I guess they call them PLEs now. I'll watch those and I'll watch this tonight because of the big event type stuff, and I want to see what's going on and kind of catching up into it. But John's watching every week, so if he thinks it's getting stale also, then to tend to he's watching it every week. So
Liv is always how can I say this? It's the less is more with Liv, and the more time you give her, the more cracks show in how limited she is as an actress, how limited she is as a wrestler, and how limited she is as a personality. It's not a coincidence that they wrapped her into the Rhea thing to put her over with Dominic, who was over like crazy, to help elevate her. And look, she's done her work, but yeah, it gets repetitive because she's not that inventive. And with Rhea, you've got so many more things to do, and she's better on all fronts than Liv. So yeah, I hope she wins too.
I love that Liv Morgan. All right.
I know you should interview. You should get her on the interview.
I got close. Got close. Ryan Beckendorf. Does Joe Hendry show up at Royal Rumble?
Oh, Royal Rumble. Maybe it's Saudi Arabia though. Did you see that? They're going to do the Royal Rumble from Saudi Arabia.
Oh wow,
so,
are they really?
Yeah. So I don't know what Hendry's political points of his opinions are. So it all depends on if they want him, and it all depends if he wants to do it. Sammy doesn't go to Saudi Arabia, so I think it'll be interesting to see how they do all that. Get ready for fully clad women in a women's Royal Rumble.
My wife, who has lived in LA all of her life.
Yeah.
Writes me, picking up the little one from school. There's snow all over my car. I don't know how to get it off. It's inside the car now. It's a disaster. I was like, I didn't teach her how to do it, but I figured, it's really not that hard to do. Anyway, Retro Rebels. I got my lady to watch Raw with me after she laid a smackdown on my candy ass last night on 2K24. She liked the wrestler. I loved Glow, but I never watched Heels. Which one would you recommend we watch together? I liked Heels. I didn't watch season 2, but I did like Heels. I liked the first couple seasons of Glow.
Yeah, Glow was great.
Out of the two of those, I mean, I think, look, CM Punk, isn't it? Bonnie Somerville's in Heels, so because of that, I'll go with Heels. But
if she liked the wrestler, Heels is the way to go because that's more of an independent point of view and independent wrestling point of view, and the wrestler was an independent point of view in terms of a wrestler. So Glow is much more of a what do you call it? I guess it's like a more of a mainstream approach to it, but Heels is more of a darker edger approach. So yeah, I'd recommend Heels as well.
Stephanie Litz, Nikki at the Globe over my Vikings crapping the bed. Understood.
They were never going to win that. They were never going to win that.
DUI champ. Hey, afternoon, mates. My boy just reported to Edwards Air Force Base this morning, so I'm visiting LA in August. What are some good nighttime bars and restaurants out there? I mean, restaurants, I'll give you a couple of good ones. I'll try Pace. Pace is a great Italian restaurant. Pace is one of my favorites. I really like it. It's sort of like Coldwater Canyon. And if you like sushi, there's a place in right off Beverly Hills called You and Me, YUNMI. Those are the two restaurants I would recommend to you. But like the nighttime bar is barking up the wrong tree here.
Ditto. I haven't been there in almost 5 years, so I wouldn't know what the new things are to go and see. So my stuff's probably boring.
Yeah, and if you like, there's a good place on Westwood Boulevard called Sunnin, Sunnin. It's a great Mediterranean place. It's my favorite place. It's one of the places I miss the best. Love that.
Nice.
Kinsport Cal, the direction of your channel is going strong. Thank you so much. I hope this year it gets better. I like the watch-alongs. Winston is easy to tolerate. What up, Roca? Poor Winston. Winston getting shit.
Thank you, Cal.
Yeah, so I don't know why Winston's getting it today. But the watch-alongs have been great. I'm excited. So Sam and I have discussed that Sam's going to be on a lot more now. We're going to try to put out 2 or at least 3 reactions a week once we start shooting them. So we're excited about it. Johnny, you're at 96, buddy.
Hey, nice.
Ethan Linhars, if not Revan, I can see Tom Hardy as Darth Malak. There you go. So he can continue his catalog of bad guys wearing masks with crazy voices. Yeah, I could see him playing Malak also. I'd like to see Fassbender as Malak. Great. Jim 1, thoughts on the feud at Amazon and Eon on James Bond. I don't know enough about it. John, what do you think?
Yeah, the Broccolis are pushing back on this whole situation with James Bond. I think someone said something the other day I didn't think about was that they could wait out Amazon from this deal and then get out of the deal and never do a Bond film under the Amazon auspices. I don't know this. I don't know the particulars of the contract, but that could be the way to go. But clearly they do not just want to turn Bond into some kind of product, and so that's the battle right now. They want to be much more selective with it. So, yeah.
All righty. Let's see. Next one here is Simon Section.
Hey.
In Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan needed to connect to that wheel to go into hyperspace. If they don't show this in KOTOB,
Knights of the Old. I think it's Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh,
B instead of R.
Oh, or explain which race already obtains this. I'm going to go insane and look for a girlfriend in public. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't think they will though. Don't get your hopes up as far as things getting explained. Oh yes. So Lovecraft says I am Roka's ex.
I wish I was gay.
Ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, go ahead. That's not a negative. I'd love to be gay. What's your problem? There's no issue being gay or straight. No issue.
They're really looking. This guy's looking to push your buttons. Buster Barnes, surprised Rock didn't stand up and say, "Keep my name out of your jabroni mouth," and give Diesel a rock bottom in people's elbow. I think Roka's right. I think you're going to hear something, a little kind of stab at on Raw tonight. I think you're
Look
right.
how fast people turn on Will Smith because he smacked Chris Rock. Chris Rock had no business saying that shit. So him smacking him, he came off looking worse. If Rock had stood up and smacked Ben, he'd have looked terrible. So yeah, tonight.
Grayfield X, you laugh at my chat and no reply. Disappointed. I don't know what you said though.
Yeah,
we weren't laughing at it. Yeah, I didn't understand it, Grayfield. So it's like it wasn't that we were laughing at it. I just didn't understand exactly what you were saying. Can you even if you don't need to put in the super chat, and just put in what you were trying to say, because your last one, it just wasn't clear. We're not laughing at it as far as no reply. Just if you put it in the normal chat, I'll look for it. Like if you can restructure what you said. So I'm sorry you felt that way, but that wasn't the intent. I just didn't really understand what you were saying. Lewis Tully, Godfather 1 or 2? 2.
Yeah.
Hank Pym, Saudi Rumble is not this year. It's an indie, and I will be there.
Oh,
baby.
so it's next year. It's in Saudi.
Yeah, so,
my bad.
Doing a meet and greet with Mammy. Thinking Flair wins the Rumble and fights Tiffy at Mania. Maybe.
Charlotte's already started going on social media. To post
Has she?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Charlotte versus Tiffany would be a good.
100%.
But let Stratton win.
Yes.
Let Stratton win.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Charlotte has now gone into the state where she is putting people over.
She has to.
It's no longer. Yeah.
Let her beat up on some other people on her way back, but then let Tiff put Tiff over.
Yeah.
All right. Green. Why should Vin care how much money The Rock makes? I mean, I think because you're saying he's going to be a billionaire. I think more so, but it's about the status of who. Yeah. It does matter in the Hollywood chain of things that he's not the guy.
Vin is small potatoes compared to what The Rock is doing.
Yeah. DUA champ. I love the brother Roca Winston combo last week. Also, I saw Complete Unknown last night. It's my favorite movie of 2024. One of the top musical biopics ever made. It's with the Doors' Bohemian Rhapsody. I loved it.
It's better than both of those. I think it could be Complete Unknown is absolutely fantastic. And we're totally going to talk about it tomorrow.
It's nice to see what Mangold did, like how he kind of changed it up.
Yeah.
Last one, Armada. O'Shea Jackson Jr. interview, Christian. I tried to get him. I almost got him for the. Yeah, I almost got him for this. You know, it's funny. I've almost gotten him twice. He was booked for one-on-one with Christian Harloff. Collider. He was booked, and at the last minute, yes, something happened at the last minute and couldn't do it. But I had him almost for this one too, but then it just fell apart. So twice, it hasn't happened. Actually, this is not the last one, John. I lied. Okay. Evil John Madden, when is the Black Diamond watch along coming? I would love to watch that one together. I mean, that's a funny movie. Dancing Dogs 60. The Golden Globes was missing Sydney Sweeney in a gold silk dress. Snare drum. By the way, Roca rules. Keep up the great work. Are you a big Sydney Sweeney? Like, are you attracted to her?
Well, of course, she's very gorgeous and a damn good actress as well. So yeah, no, I'm all for it. And I like that she's messing with people in the way she's approaching a thing, because she's literally a DGAF type of person. She's going to do what she wants to do. Yeah. And we will be hearing from her for a long, long time.
Yeah. Well, John, you hit 104, my man.
Hey,
104. So there you go.
Let's start.
Bobby Jackson. Christian, have you read the new synopsis of He-Man on the Movie Web? Article by Anthony Lund. Different. I might be able to buy this take. No, Bobby, I haven't seen it. Do me a favor, tag me on it, and I'll take a look, because I'm not excited about what I heard so far, but it was a rumor at the time, so I don't know yet. So I got to take a look. Corn Emperor, close to 100. Yes, we did.
Nice.
We hit 105, and
105.
Roca did it. Pete Parker, when's the rematch for Jeff and you Bull? I talked about that the other day. You've seen that footage, right?
Oh, of course, many times.
Yeah, sure. You need to put that, dude. You need to put that as a little like I do for Mustard.
Yeah.
You need to have when you Bull punches Jeff and he falls down, like whenever you hit.
Yeah.
You should put that on there. You got to clip that out.
You know how I can take your ribbing? I don't think Jeff can take the ribbing, bro.
No,
so I can't put that on. He'll get sensitive about it. Jeff's a very sensitive guy, so I have to be careful.
Mustard.
What I put up there. So yeah, maybe I'll try and see his reaction to it. But we'll see.
You know me.
Yeah.
You know me. I would put it on there.
I know you would. You put that damn thing on my face, which you'll never do again.
Big Ball's coming back. You coming back?
I'm gonna slice him off.
Anyway, all right, we did it. 105, John, on a Monday. Holy moly, you're gonna look.
It feels like 200 for two people, so I'm gonna go with that in my mind. Okay. I'm gonna go with that on my mind.
We'll see what you can get done tomorrow with Dan Merle, which is gonna be actually pretty crazy tomorrow. As we're gonna, you got one more here. Patty Boy's coming in. So I guess Patty Boy's coming in late because he didn't hear us. Thoughts on the Golden Globes? I thought that they were utterly disappointing. Nothing I like except for Challenger's score. Timmy is the best actor. So Patty Boy, we actually went. We broke down the Golden Globes for about 15 minutes in the beginning. So if you you probably just joined us. We both liked the show more so than beforehand. I thought Nikki Glaser was a wonderful host. Yeah, the award. If you're talking about the winners in general, yeah, I was kind of. I mean, look, I haven't seen Emilia Perez, so I can't really speak on whether or not I think it was deserving or not. But from whatever I heard, I don't know. Oh, wait. So Christopher Carrillo said that the mustard thing is becoming the robot thing. It's not funny. I'm sorry. I will never do it again. I apologize.
Mustard.
I'll never do it ever again.
Mustard.
Promise, never again.
Mustard.
Do these people not know me, John?
No, I don't know. They follow you for years. They still can't do it.
I won't do it. I'm sorry. If you guys are really annoyed by it, I won't do it ever again.
Mustard.
You shouldn't. Carrillo has a lot of terrible takes. You shouldn't listen. There you go.
Yeah. So I'll never do it ever again.
Christopher's an angry little man.
Yeah.
All right, we good?
All right, we're good. All right, listen. So do what you're going. Tell me exactly what.
Come and hang out with me tonight live at 5 p.m. PT for the Netflix watch along of Raw, and then of course Geek Buddy stuff coming up. We just booked it as we were talking. Tomorrow night live at 5 p.m. PT Geek Buddy show, talking about all the stuff that we missed over the last few days. So good now that Michael's back. And then, of course, we'll have some more stuff going on there on the Outlaw Nation, like the Hot Mic, the Jedi Way, and my stuff. So head on over there, youtube.com/John Roca says. Thanks, guys. Much love. Thanks, Tristan. Have a great week, everybody. Much love. Happy New Year to everybody. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, John. And we will be back. John will be back tomorrow, man. We're going to be doing the show with myself and Dan Merle, so make sure you catch us here today. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. Anywhere podcasts are found, make sure you check us out. Check out our Clips channel if you haven't done that. I'm going to get my most anticipated video out there. I got my Iron Man 3 reaction coming very soon. So that and more. So thank you very much for being here with us today. Good Monday start. See you next time. Bye-bye.